Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you sim broadcasts and Live for Speed racing fans. Welcome to the second round of the GT2 Challenge presented by Sim Broadcasts and brought to you by New Dimension Racing. We're at the Rockingham International Circuit today. Open practice is finished in the background, about ready to get going for the qualifying session. But before we do that, we've got a highlight video and another teaser trailer for you while we get ready in the background. So stay tuned. Video coming up, and we'll be back with you shortly. Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in today to Sim Broadcast for the return of the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge. This, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Stuart Baker is off into pit lane.
We are green flag racing for GT2 Challenge, and there's the launch.
Side-by-side racing once more. Ooh. Even more so.
Oh, yeah, Jared and Julio Martins have collided. Martins now facing the wrong way. Oh, goodness me. Oh, big collision and into the turn 7 gravel trap.
This will be a safety car.
Another 30 laps or so to go. This is far from over. So here we go, Travis.
Price behind two cars that are racing one another.
Yeah, Isaac Price and Vitalis Laguskas
side by side in the Eau Rouge complex. One backer marker separates them from Yannick Attila behind. Vitalis Laguskas through into the lead.
Neck and neck, they won't yield whatsoever. Vitalis Laguskas wins round 1 of the 2024 GT2 Challenge.
All right, we are back. Thank you very much to Sean Lee for putting together that video for us. Excellent content. And I dare say that we enjoy hearing our own voices over the highlight reel, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to get used to. It's definitely a very recent thing where the highlights have combined the on-track action with our commentary clips. But yeah, it is wonderful to see, and I'm looking forward to even more of that in the coming weeks and months.
Yes, indeed. Me as well. There you can see the schedule on the screen today. Round 2, Rockingham International, the R07 circuit, coming up in just a few minutes. Cars have rolled off in the background to begin the qualifying session. They'll be coming around to start their hot laps in about 1 minute's time. Round 3 will be in 2 weeks, Sunday, March 3rd, at the same time, the Kyoto GP long circuit. And then we will finish the season in round 4 at the West Hill International reverse circuit. There is today's circuit, Rockingham International. 12 turns, windy, twisty interior infield section of this course. Very tricky hairpin there at turn 2. Eoin, lots of excitement there just a few weeks ago in GT4. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid enough race. Yeah, they got it through reasonably clean at Dean, I believe, that time. It was then a bit later on, yeah, there was a bit of chaos, but yeah, it was all good.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully somewhat less chaos there today. Cars, again, in the background, about to roll around and start their hot laps. We've got cars joining the front straightaway, coming around oval turn 4, turn 12 on the oval part of turn 12 of the road course, turn 4 of the oval, as cars come around now to begin their hot laps. I see Dennis Lind somewhere near the front of the train. Another car had gone through in front of him. Dennis did not participate in round 1, but here for round 2. A car backing up on
Jared
the
Mead.
inside of the circuit, just ahead of Jared Mead, Angry Angus driver, safely out of the way, though it does spook Dennis a little bit up and over the curbs. Looking at Victor Veloso taking the wide line around oval turn 4. That's how it's done. Open up the track as much as possible to carry as much speed as you can around turn 1. Here we go, diving down to the inside, all the way down to the grass. Shorten the circuit as much as possible as he streaks for turn 1. Jumps hard on the brakes. Turn 2, my mistake. Neat and tidy over the curbing there. Double apex. Very clean through the first 2 apexes. Doesn't get up on the yellow sausage curb on the outside. And so far from Victor Veloso, it looks like a very good lap. Oh, I spoke a little bit too soon, Eoin. I cursed him just as I was praising his driving up and over the grass. That'll cost him a few tenths.
Yeah, I suppose the key thing is just to get any respectable time on the board, learn from any mistakes that you make, and then you can use the remaining 15 minutes or so to prepare your best possible lap. That'll get you going for the race itself.
Yes, indeed. One small mistake aside, this is a pretty tidy lap. Don't know yet just how it will slot in the grand scheme of qualifying times, but this is a clean-looking job from Victor Veloso so far. Ooh, takes a big bite of the curb there, but uses all the road on the exit, avoids the grass through the right-hand sweeper before he jumps hard on the brakes now for this tight left-hand corner. Opens up the power on to the oval, short straightaway down into pit lane. Looked clean enough to us, Eoin, but apparently not so to him. Straight into pit lane for fresh rubber.
Yeah, that's the point, Jay. He didn't feel like setting that time with any valid effort. So there's a Julio Martins having to get out of the way of Carlos Montagitas, who must believe he's on the better lap, and that must be Jeff and Jacob having to cut the road as well. It's all going to be hectic here.
Excessive courtesy from his competitors diving over the curbs and into the grass to get out of his way. I'm sure Carlos is thrilled. He spoke to us in interviews last week, 2 weeks ago, and said that he felt like he could improve on his performance. So far, looking very good. Everyone doing plenty of favors, trying to give him a clean circuit to run on. Though they're stalking him in the background is an arguably much quicker driver, Dennis Lind. Carlos using lots of the curb there on the entry. But so far, as long as we've been watching him, this looking like a pretty tidy lap from him. As we switch back to Dennis Lind, very quick driver, Danish Formula Ford champion years ago, has driven GT3 cars all over the world, and very handy indeed in Live for Speed. Though not satisfied with this lap, he also ducks into pit lane as Carlos goes around the front stretch to set a lap.
Yeah, just correct myself there, Travis. It was Darius Verzinskas who got out of the way in the Yes Motorsports car. Made absolutely sure he was not impeding. So yeah, he's set a better lap time earlier on in the session at 1:31.67, but that one was obviously spoiled, so he'll try again this time.
He will indeed. Looking at Carlos once again on the brakes. Very clean, very quick. Carried plenty of speed through the right-hander there. Now the second right-hander, ooh, just touches the sausage curve, upsets the car a little bit, but it looks like he still has it well in hand. Nice and clean. Oh! I should stop commenting on the quality of the driver's performance, because this is twice from as many calls that I have cursed what was looking to be a good lap. Carlos struggling with the rear of the car there, gets away from him, but appears as though he's still committed. You can see there in the upper right, Eoin, we've got on-board videos this week.
yeah, picture in picture. So we're looking at his actual stream, what he's looking at in the small picture on the top right, and then our overall broadcast taking up the majority of the screen. But yeah, that is fascinating to see how he's getting on. You can see his exact telemetry, 180 kilometers per hour thereabouts, braking now down to second gear, 90 up to 100 now. So yeah, that'll keep us plenty occupied.
That's why we've been checking out new broadcast features. We'll review the order. There you can see Vitalis Lagutskas in the FXR winner 2 weeks ago at the top with a pretty good margin over Rick Cardall. 30.76 for Vitalis Lagutskas. Rick Cardall, best of the Sidus drivers in the FZR so far on a minute 31.08. Imran Azar, great qualifying performance for him so far. A few more tenths clear in the XRR. So all three makes at the tip top of the order. Pali Peltikongas, Dennis Lind rounding out the top five, but not yet halfway through the running yet. 23 drivers have set times, and we have a few more yet to get across the line and set a valid time. As we watch at Magic Klimchik come through, using the rear of that FZR to try to get around the corner and out of the way. Looks as though he might be ducking into pit lane. He is. Lots of cars aborting laps, or maybe we're just unlucky, Eoin, picking them up as they're coming into pit lane.
Yeah, for sure. Like Aston 2 weeks ago, much more open track, a lot of space to move around if you need to get out of people's way, build up your temps, get going. Rockingham is just totally different. You'll be lucky to get side-by-side action at any point. Maybe the Tarzan hairpin was the one exception. You can definitely go 2x2 there, but otherwise, yeah, it's going to be so congested. And if you can nail your lap time in a similar vein to what we saw from Isaac in round one, that could be an enormous boost to your weekend.
Can indeed. Rick Cardall looking mighty quick, but the rear of the car throwing fits through the first few corners. Much cleaner now. Uses all of the curbing there on the exit, hard on the brakes. Love seeing how the front of the car dips the splitter all the way down to the tarmac on the brakes. Now up and over this little grasscrete entry to the infield pit lane. On the brakes hard once again. Not as much curb there as we saw Carlos Machiotis take earlier. Through this white right-hand sweeping corner, now hard on the brakes one more time. Wants to get on the brakes a little bit early, tidy through the corner, carry the power on the exit, bit wide on the way out, but manages to pull it down to the left side of the circuit. Once again, Eoin, a car straight into pit lane.
Yeah, it seems like we have to wait an awful long time for the elite lap times to be revealed. Pali Peltikongas here on screen now for Sidus. Can he build his way up to a lap time? Martin's in his windshield again, so yeah, we'll see plenty of Julio as the session progresses. Yeah, he'll want to try and get his lap times sorted. In currently 23rd at the minute, and there's another example of Zanella. I think it was off track.
I believe you're right. Pali Peltikongas was 6th when we picked him up. Someone has just surpassed him and gone a little bit further up the order. Looking at Marcela Neva now, who has put together some inspired performances for us in past events. Now on board, up and over the curbing on the left side of the road. Fairly medium speed corner that you want to keep pretty tight. Here, though, the rear of the car starts to get away. Over the left-hand curbing, wide to the right. More like a very long double apex left-hand corner with this wide sweep following. On the brakes, again, dab them just to get the car turned in, fighting the rear of the car all the way around, using the rear to steer around the corner. Now hard on the brakes for this almost hairpin right-hand corner. Opens it up on the exit, over the bump on the left. There it is. Over the slight crest, across the infield start-finish line, hard on the brakes. In this right-hander, wants to take some of the curb here, but not too much because it'll upset the rear of the car. Oh, over the curbing again.
There's your point.
Yeah, Neva really struggling with the car, Eoin.
Yeah, the other point is his teammate, Victor Veloso, is right behind, so yeah, he's got to merge out of the way so he doesn't ruin both the Energy Virtual Racing team lap times. So yeah, he rightfully has to get down to pit lane, let Victor set his lap time. While
we've been following these other cars around, the reason why Pali Peltagongas was demoted from 6th to 7th, and now a couple more positions is some of the drivers we expected to see are near the top have now appeared there. Rick Cardall pushed from 2nd down to 4th position by Isaac Price and his teammate, Citus driver Gabber. So an FXR, Vitalis Laguskas, still at the top, a 10th clear of Isaac Price. But then a train of FZRs, Isaac, Gabber, Rick Cardall behind, and Eoin Catilla has appeared in the top 5. And the XRR there in P5. And Eoin, hearing you say in the background, someone upside down. Ooh, yep, Lishnersky there on his lid. Not ideal.
No, this is a semi-hardcore, so he'll be likely stuck there for the foreseeable. And that will mean his best case scenario is that P22 on the grid that he currently occupies. Yeah, he just has to sit there and just wait for something else to happen to him, to be honest. No one's going to rescue him here.
Here we go with Dennis Lynn winding up a hot lap. They're high on the relatively shallow banking here at the Rockingham circuit. Streaks across the start-finish line. He'll pull the car down to the apron, all the way down to the grass on the left side of the circuit here. Streaking down to turn 1 now. He'll throw anchor overboard in just a minute for the left-hander. Here he is using the rear of the car to turn in. Might be a little bit of handbrake there. Nice exit. Lots of power early in the throttle. Here, turning in for the right-hander, just avoids the sausage curb on the right, using all of the road on the exit. Brilliant use of the throttle. Again, using the rear of the car to turn in, keeps it nice and tight here on the right side of the road to open up the left-hander. And the second left-hander coming now, just touches the curbing, misses the bollard by about a meter on the inside, exactly what you want to do. Going to get the car, you can see the rear of the car working, the slip angle of the front, just inches away from the grass on the exit. Brilliant overhead shot here. Hard on the brakes, a little bit wide of the road on the entry, but early in the power, uses all of the pit entry up and over the bump. Very clean looking lap from Dennis Lind as a purple car gets out of the way ahead of him. Couldn't tell who that was. Using the curbing on the right to help the car turn in all of the road on the exit once again. Now hard on the brakes here just before the 50-meter board. Uses the handbrake to turn the car in again. Lots of power very early on the exit. Wheel spin, but keeps it inside the white lines. And now he brings the car gently to the left side of the circuit, down on the apron, just clipping the grass with the left side tires. And if he wants to shorten the track as much as possible, he will stay to the inside. Dennis goes 6th. Very tidy lap, but still 4/10 off the benchmark time set by Vitalis Lagutskas. Eoin Catilla has gotten a little bit closer, Eoin, but Vitalis still the class of the field.
Yeah, Eoin was one of our stars of the show 2 weeks ago. He'll want to try and build on that P4 he got in the epic ending. So yeah, if he can secure another top 5 start, that would be a huge opportunity for him. Overtaking could be at a premium, and strategy will certainly come into play with the fuel, which we will certainly describe in greater detail at the end of the session. So yeah, it's just so competitive at the top. 130s for the top 3, and then Gabor 131.03, Ricardo 131.08. So it is a tightly compact grid, and you can just see the top 7 all within half a second.
So we'll tease a little bit of this strategy that Eoin just alluded to, and I think it should be clear to everyone already that the FXR is quite good here, as it was a couple weeks ago. Vitalis Lagutskas appears unassailable at the very top of the order. Eoin Catilla not able to get any closer than a tenth of a second. As we see Darius Brzezinskis. Oh, now Gabber coming through the right-hander. Gabber in P4. Looks like he's about halfway through a lap. No, coming around to the end of the lap now. Not using the handbrake to get the rear of the car around the corner there. But tidy regardless. On the power early. Gabber does this better than anyone else. There you can see Gabber's on board. That is from his Twitch stream. He is online. So if you'd like to watch Gabber's perspective of this race, definitely go check out his channel, Citus Gabor, there on screen just above his name badge, and goes to, I think he telepitted, so I think no, not telepitted. His qualifying is done as we picked up Rick Cardall. Sorry, getting confusing messages in my ear, Eoin. He did telepit, which means he will probably get a note from one of the JPs in just a few moments' time.
Yeah, he'd be disallowed from any further participation in the qualifying session for telepitting. Yeah, it is just a case of if he's satisfied with his job, he may as well just tell the pit and not go on any further. Isaac Price just in the distance there coming into Gretton. So yeah, will he want to set this lap time, save his best for last again? It will have to be next time by if he has the fuel load, or else get straight into pit lane. Yeah, exactly. So everyone who is contending for Laguskas' pole position will have to get into pit lane right now, get everything reordered, and then go for it from this point on. It's going to be a very congested track, Travis, and we cannot wait to see if anything can shock us in the final 3.5 minutes.
Well, there are plenty of drivers who certainly could. One of them, this man right here, Joni Katila, a certified alien, if there is one in this running. Joni certainly driving like he's on a qualifying lap right now. Very tidy, using all of the road on the exit, just as his competitors are. Hearing, yes, he is indeed on a qualifying lap. Uses the rear of the car to get the XRR around the corner. Not quite as much rear wheel steering as you would see in the FZ, but plenty from Joni on the brakes here. Up and over the curbing, a healthy bite of the blue and white on the right side of the circuit as he comes down to the final braking zone before he rejoins the oval. Over the curb on the left, just misses the tires on the right, using all of the road, basically making a 90-degree left-hander before he opens up the power. And now all the way down to the apron. He'll keep the car left to make the track as short as he possibly can. Still under the white line. Sacrifice a little bit of speed doing that, but shortens the track substantially and picks up 0.02 of a second, but still not enough to unseat Vitalis Lagutskas on pole position.
My word, yeah, that goes to show. He put in a fantastic effort there to retain that second place, but still not enough to enter Laguskas' territory. So yeah, this is a very competitive session now.
Marcelo Neva starting a flying lap. This will be his final qualifying lap. He will not be able to get in the pit lane and start another one in time. Vitalis Lagutskas on a flying lap now. Rick Cardall in the background crossing the line to start one more flying lap, or approaching the line to start one more flying lap. So Rick Cardall will have one more shot. His teammate has bailed out of the session. In lap for Lagutskas, sorry, my mistake. So Vitalis Lagutskas will have to be satisfied with the time that he has already set. Daniel Lukastik coming across the line now. This appears to be finishing a lap, crossing the line now, and now down to the apron, so he might be on a flying lap. Chose not to take the wide line through turn 4. And we'll look up and down the order to see who else might set a time. Look up and down the order to see who else might be setting a time as the clock winds down. Daniel Lukastik was finishing a lap, and here we have Rick Cardall, who is definitely on a lap. Owen, we've got one.
Hooray! So let's follow along. A chance to break into the top 5 ahead of his teammate Gabor. He's got to find 1/10 of a second, or probably a dozen 1/10 of a second to make any inroads here. Now he's pulled over. So he's got to give up, I'm afraid.
Dan Bala, one of our own, on a lap. We saw him about one lap ago ahead of the train in this green machine. Now using a lot of the rear of the car to get around the corner. That looked a little wiry on the entry, but then very clean on the exit. Hard to say if that was quicker than what anyone else has done, but it definitely looked good for the cameras. Dan Bala on the apron now, coming around the final corner and across the line. We'll see if he can improve from 17th. He can improve from 17th, picks up 3 positions up to 14th. Ayoub El Hanouni, who we expect to be much further up the order, on his last effort right here, halfway around the circuit, up and over the curbing there, missing the sausage on the right. Now turning left, clock has run out. So this will be all she wrote for drivers yet on circuit setting flying laps. Clean so far, or so it seems from Ayoub, who desperately wants to improve from 22nd.
Yeah, this is crucial for Ayoub. 22nd is certainly a very, very precarious spot on the track. You've got all the drivers wanting to make gains from the bottom third of the grid, and you've got the mid-pack as well that could all be congested into Dean Hairpin. So yeah, he really wants to find a better time. We know he had a solid run at Aston. So yeah, P15 and championship he is. So yeah, he really wants to improve, get a top 20 at the absolute minimum. So let's see how he gets on.
Could get a little bit of help from his teammate just ahead. That's Stefan Tiefenbacher is further down the order in 30th position, the number 22 machine, but does give Ayub some slipstream, so that will help him find a little bit more time as he crosses the line. Does he improve? No, still 22nd position. As we look back to Sean Lee, creator of that brilliant highlight video that we saw at the top. Car diving out of the way, could hardly blame whoever that was ahead of him. Sean Lee, rear of the car getting away on exit. That's going to compromise his speed down the short chute and into the final corner. Sean Lee looking to improve from 17th. A spirited, inspired drive by him 2 weeks ago to come from further down the order before it unraveled with a penalty. Sean Lee does not improve, 31.68, still in 17th position.
And yeah, we're just out of time there, so everybody can now get themselves ready for race time, and we have our grid coming up in just a second now. It should all be formed as we speak.
We will have the qualifying results on the screen in just a moment's time. At the very top, though, we can say Vitalijs Lagutskas, who set one qualifying lap, I believe, Eoin, set one qualifying lap, and then that was it. He was at the top and never demoted.
Gosh, that is unreal, yeah. So yeah, the NDR tracker, yeah, that would confirm as much. He went out, he set his best lap, yeah, at the third attempt, I believe. I'm just checking the NDR tracker. So once he was happy with that, yeah, he was all done. So yeah, that's a show of confidence.
A show of confidence indeed. Working on getting the graphics up in the background, but we can start talking about the qualifying order. It will be Vitalijs Lagutskas at the top, who set a best lap of 1:30.67 seconds. I believe that was his, or I should say we believe that was his very first qualifying lap. Eoin Katila did ultimately take a second position. Isaac Price, championship contender behind Vitalijs Lagutskas, will be in third. And we will review the rest of the order just as soon as we can see it there on screen. We will have, I believe we're going to show the round one highlight trailer again, so everyone stick around and look forward to that in just a minute. Now the qualifying is over, Eoin. While we're waiting for the qualifying results, I think we could probably talk about the strategy or the strategies we anticipate seeing during this event.
Yeah, certainly. The opportunity for the FZR, for example, I think it will spend just over 100% of its fuel. So a stop for a refill would be required, particularly if a safety car comes out. Then, yeah, you'd imagine all the FZRs will take the opportunity to pit. Otherwise, they'll run out of juice right at the end. So, yeah, that's one thing to look out for. And indeed, we saw the FXR. It's quick on its turn in, able to maintain its traction in the slower hairpins, and the XR kind of in the middle, not quite able to use acceleration and power to its full potential until you reach that oval. So yeah, it's a lot of thinking for the drivers, regardless of what car they've picked.
And we do anticipate seeing some mix of tire strategies today. Drivers who want to be aggressive could potentially make R2 work. But for all three, well, the FXR certainly won't be making R2 work, but for the XRR, FZR drivers, XRRs could try R2, FZRs might have to do R2, R3. But it is a challenge indeed to make the softest tire go a long distance. There we have qualifying results now. Vitalijs Lagutskas just 700ths clear of Eoin Katila in second position. Isaac Price, championship contender, second place finisher a couple weeks ago in third position. Victor Veloso all the way up to fourth, just pips Gabber there toward the end of the session. Gabber's teammate Rick Cardall behind in sixth. Darius Brzezinskis will be in seventh, with Pali Peltokongas in eighth. Dennis Lind, we're thrilled to see him today. Glad that he can make a round of the GT2 Challenge there in ninth position. And Imran Azar rounds out the top 10. On the right side, positions 11 through 20, Marcelo Neva, Paropo, Borislav Botev, Dan Bala, Daniel Lakostic, one of your countrymen, Eoin. That is Krorkin in 16th position. Cathal Krorkin. Sean Lee there in 17th position, with Garzelny in 18th. Carlos Machiotis in 19th. And rounding out the top 20, David Gaj. And now, second page of the qualifying results. We have Nierka in 21st position. Ayub El Hanouni, who could not improve from 22nd. Born to race driver, well down the order. Cyril Bisset, our new friend in the interview room after our races. Frenchman there in 23rd. Jared Mead in 24th. His countryman and teammate Reg LeBlanc in 25th. The elder Catilla there in 26th position with Martin in 27th. Zdenek Zagash in 28th position. Jeremy Greed 29th. And Lishnerski in 30th. And then all the way down from positions 31 to 36, born to race driver Stefan Tiefenbacher, Jeffen Jakob in 32nd, Magic in 33rd, Nico Pantola well down the order, Citus driver a bit frustrated in this session, all the way at the back, but we know he can make his way up the order. Martin in 35th position, and at the very back, Haraloka Jeremiah Sinella in 36th with a lap time outside 110%. I expect Eoin, they will probably let him participate owing to his performances in past events, but we do need to confirm what they decide. There you can see on screen the virtual portraits of our broadcast team. That is myself on the left, Eoin Harmon, Peter there toward the right, and on the very right end, Chris McElroy, our production and commentary team for this event. There we go, Eoin. Lots of business out of the way, and now we look forward to a race that is getting ready in the background.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking for Jeremias and his pre-qualifying performance. Should be somewhere around. Where did he? Yeah, there he is. So he was 16th pre-qualifying, so I've no doubt. Yeah, he has the capability of racing today. It's just he didn't produce on this qualifying session. So yeah, I'd say NDR and the team will all know what he's capable of. So yeah, he should be allowed to take to the grid. He has put in the work. So yeah, I think it was just a case of a bad session for him. He didn't get a representative time in. Yeah, he should be absolutely fine.
Perfect. Happy for him that he will be able to take part. There you can see the 3 makes of car in the event today. Just a moment ago, you saw the schedule. This is round 2. Rounds 3 and 4 will follow in 2 weeks and 4 weeks' time, respectively. While they do the driver's briefing in the background, we will take a short break and we will show the highlight reel from round 1 once again, and then we will be back to talk about the second round coming up in just a few minutes' time. Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in today to Sim Broadcast for the return of the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge. This, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Stuart Baker is off into pit lane.
We are green flag racing for GT2 Challenge, and there's the launch.
Side-by-side racing once more. Ooh. Even more so.
Oh, yeah, Jared and Julio Martins have collided. Martins now facing the wrong way. Oh, goodness me. Oh, big collision and into the turn 7 gravel trap.
This will be a safety car.
Another 30 laps or so to go. This is far from over. So here we go, Travis.
Price behind 2 cars that are racing one another.
Yeah, Isaac Price and Vitalis Laguskas.
Side by side into the Eau Rouge complex. One backer marker separates them from Yannick Attila behind. Vitalis Laguskas through into the lead.
Neck and neck. They won't yield whatsoever. Vitalis Laguskas wins round 1 of the 2024 GT2 Challenge.
We are back, grid being set in the background, concluding the driver's briefing. We will be ready to go racing in just a couple minutes. This is round 2 of the NDR GT2 Challenge 2024 season. We are at the Rockingham International Circuit. And we do have championship standings here. After round one, Vitalijs Lagutskas at the very top on 105 points. Brilliant performance by him last week, 2 weeks ago, my mistake. Pole position and then the race win. Isaac Price behind him in second position, Gabber in third, Eoin Attila in fourth, rounding out the top five. Mentas Smolkevicius, who is not participating today, so he's sacrificing valuable points in this championship. And they're positioned 21 through 40. We'll have a couple newcomers today, so the ultimate championship standings will include at least 40 drivers when this is all said and done. And just a moment, we should have the teams standing as well. There we go. That is, yes, Motorsport at the very top on 191 points, well clear of Team Citus, Born to Race in third. Team Citus and Born to Race, both with a healthy contingent of drivers today, Eoin, looking for points.
Yeah, certainly it's a target to aim for. If the wins and podiums are out of your reach, then yeah, getting the numbers to back you up in the Teams Championship is definitely worth a go. And of course, Energy Virtual Racing, I think they'll get a proper go today. We saw how quick Victor Veloso was. So yeah, the Energy Virtual Racing team should be a shoe-in for some points today.
Yeah, I believe they have 2 drivers, maybe 3 drivers in today. Victor Veloso, as you said,
Paropo.
Yeah, Kaike Paropo, and then also Marcelo Neva is an Energy Racing Team driver. So plenty of support from Energy Virtual. Looking for a good result. We wish them well in this event. Once again, this is round 2 of the 2024 season of the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge. We are at the Rockingham International Circuit. Drivers readying up in the background now. So everyone raring to go. There you can see in the upper right, if you'd like to follow live timing of this event, tracker.newdimensionracing.com. There you can see live timing. Qualifying results may yet be up, but pretty soon that will tick over to the race, and you will be able to see the live standings as the race unfolds. There, a picture of the broadcast team, myself, Travis Mehlinger, my good friend Eoin Harmon, there alongside Peter Butcher, Chris McElroy, our friends in the background, bringing you the pictures and telling Eoin and I about all of the action. Grateful to have their assistance in the background.
Yeah, it's a near impossible job to spot everything, but having the guys in the background to lend their support, it means a huge amount to the broadcast. And yeah, we can certainly hope for a lot of collaboration to make sure everything that we can spot will be on the screens and we can all have the best broadcast possible.
And on the topic of support in the background, we have a bit of a surprise today. Our dear friend and colleague, Chris Ford, is in the background. He may be able to pop in for a few words during the race, but haven't had a chance to talk to him for a while in the commentary booth proper. But he will be in the booth with us. If he doesn't make an appearance over the air, we want everyone to know that he is in the background. Thrilled to have him here with us, and we welcome him back. He last commentated an event in 2021 with me, the 2021 edition of the NDR GT2 Challenge. So again, thrilled to have him back.
Yeah, he was around for a lot of the races. Certainly Fern Bay, the one I'll never be able to live down. He was there that day, and he had I'm sure he was absolutely bemused and certainly delighted how that one went. So yeah, we're just heading towards the final few confirmations in the background. So yeah, we're nearly ready to go, Travis.
We are indeed there once again. Qualifying results, starting grid. Vitalijs Lagutskas will lead away the field alongside Eoin Attila, Isaac Price, and Victor Veloso behind. Teammates at the Citus squad, Gabber and Rick Cardall in positions 5 and 6. Darius Brzezinskis, another Citus driver, Pali Peltokongas behind them. And then Dennis Lind and Imran Azar. Imran Azar, MRCE Challenge specialist, there in 10th position, but no slouch in tin tops either. I think we have two more drivers yet to ready up, but those are course cars. So once they ready, we will be on the grid and ready to roll away. I am so looking forward to this amazing shot down pit lane where cars roll off from the presentation grid.
Yeah, hopefully everyone's connections are stable and ready to go to make that display on pit lane very, very enjoyable. So here they go.
while we wait for cars to actually appear on the grid and roll away behind Stuart Baker, one thing we should mention is that Shibin Liu, who participated in the GT4 challenge, did not pre-qualify, was given as a reserve driver, allowed to participate. So he is joining the grid at the very back behind Bajnar Velinov and Jeremias Zanella. Bajnar Velinov, not sure why he is all the way at the back. I think we missed him not setting a qualifying time because he did pre-qualify. Aha, there we go. And now Shibin Liu off the grid and back on again. So on the grid just in time, just a second or two before Stuart Baker rolls away. And here,
Formation
this amazing
underway,
shot.
formation lap
36
underway.
Cars lined up on pit lane, rolling away behind Stuart Baker. Born to Race drivers, Yes Motorsport, Energy Virtual, all of these brilliant teams. Sidus rolling away. The bright green rims on a Born to Race car driving by. I had not noticed that before. Owen, we'll keep an eye out for that car.
Yeah, it's a Cahill Crockin specialty.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
very, very
no
good.
surprises there.
Irish national colors. I appreciate that. And the rest of the grid coming by the cameras now. And in just a few moments, they will arrange 2 by 2 behind Stuart Baker. He will pull off the circuit, and we will be underway for a 60-lap race today.
Yeah, 60 laps scheduled for our second round of the championship. It leaves a lot of wriggle room. If we go through a few yellow flags, for example, then yeah, there will be plenty of time to make up. Yeah, Aston, it kind of flew by. To be honest, Travis, there was just so much going on, even with the one safety car period and a few VSCs today. Yeah, it's going to be hectic. So
Safety car
everyone
lights
needs
out.
to be
Tire
on their
rolling
games starting right now.
There you could hear the call from race control in the background. Safety car lights out, so they are ready to roll off this event. Stuart Baker will negotiate 3 or 4 more corners before he moves off to the left side of the circuit under the pit entry line, and then the field will be under control of Vitalis Lagutskas. Having a little bit of difficulty now with the timing tower. We apologize for that, but Owen and I will call all the action for you the best we possibly can. Forming up rows 2 by 2 now. Stuart Baker accelerating away from the field. And Vitalis Lagutskas now with full control of all of these cars behind him. Stuart Baker chooses to stay out and not come down to pit lane, so maybe we will go around for one more lap. That's fine. Gives us a moment to breathe, or he may pull off the circuit very late. Aha, he does indeed. Owen, Stuart Baker is out of the way, taking Vitalis Lagutskas across the line to begin round 2 of the GT2 Challenge.
Green flag.
Let's
green
begin.
flag.
It's
we have a race.
green. Round 2 of GT2 Challenge underway. Paul Sitter Lagutskas pulling deep to the inside. He's got Eoin Catilla for competition on his outside. Victor Veloso pulling wide as well. Isaac Price giving him the bump. So Isaac Price straight away into second position. Here they come to Dean Hairpin. Who's going to pick it? It's Lagutskas defending his inside line. Price in the middle of it. 3 wide. Catilla will cut back though.
4 wide briefly there. Looked like Isaac Price might get the job done on the outside. He is now behind Eoin Catilla. Through all of that, Vitalis Lagutskas manages to hold the lead of the race. The running order.
Bit of contact again, Wood. Lisnarski in that gravel. A few cars sideways. Tiefenbacher. But yeah, it's all clean. They're all out of the gravel trap. So everyone who started has carried on.
A little bit of chaos in the background. Thank you for the call
But
there,
that was a
Owen.
roller.
But everyone,
Roller.
a roller.
Who is it? I can't see exactly. It
Jeremias
has to be a VSC. He's offline.
Safety car.
Yeah, no, full safety car. So, yeah, very, very sudden end to the drama there. Who would have been? It's Bissy, Cyril Bissy. No, that's a shame.
Yeah, and Jeremias Zanella has, looking at Jeremias Zanella, who has picked up a bollard and a cone. The front end of that car very badly damaged. Cyril Bissy upside down by the tires. We had a car upside down next to the tires in the qualifying session. They can allow that session to run with a car stricken, but not so in the race. So safety car out. Lots of excitement there at the start. Apologies for the difficulty with the timing. We've got that working now. Vitalis Lagutskas somehow through all of that. Cars were briefly 4 wide. You called it 3 wide, Owen, as they entered the corner, but Isaac had made it 4 wide. Looked like he might get the job done on the outside. But Vitalis Lagutskas able to maintain control of the race through all of that as we pick him up now, lurking behind Stuart Baker, who is now out on circuit, safety car lights ablaze, race neutralized, and I'll have to admit to being grateful for a moment to breathe with all of that going on in the opening lap, Eoin.
Yeah, we'll have we'll get the oxygen in the lungs again, ready for another restart. This time it'll be single file, so that could play into the hands of Yanni Kittel or Isaac Price. They'll get a good slingshot on Leguskas, and they'll have another opportunity. If we saw how good they were in two abreast, then yeah, I'd say they have a very strong opportunity of challenging for the lead on the restart. But yeah, for the most part, everyone will stay out on track if they are in the top 20. But anyone at the back, it's worth a gamble. Get some fresh tires on if you need to, and then rejoin the queue at the end.
Yeah, this will help drivers stretch their tires and fuel, but certainly not enough to make the entire distance. Still compelled to make a green flag pit stop as the race runs at this point, assuming there's no later safety car. Not much change at the top of the order. Vitalis Lagutskas, Yoni Katila was able to maintain second position. Isaac Price behind in third. Victor Veloso and Rick Cardall, Gabber and Victor Veloso swap positions. Rick Cardall still in sixth. Darius Virgintius, Pali Peltagongas, Dennis Lind, Marcelo Neva making up the remainder of the top 10. No change there. And no call yet about whether or when this safety car will be ending. Drivers just connected in the background. That is the 25 of Kamil Gorzelny. Don't know, I'm pretty sure he took the start. He may have disconnected after the race actually began and is now looking to rejoin. But we crossed the start-finish line once again. Gorzelny timed out, so there you have it. He'll be allowed to rejoin once he's cleared, but he will be discredited one lap. Stuart Baker still driving around, safety car lights on, so we will have at least one more lap under the safety car unless we get a late call, lights out on this lap. And looking around to see if Bisset has cleared from the circuit. He has. So Bisset clear, waiting for the course car to get off the circuit if it is not already out of the way. That would have been Asichita Sakis, and I don't see him out on the circuit. We need a call about Kamil Gorzelny, whether he can rejoin, and then we should be underway again.
Yeah, the instruction for Camille should be just to watch his mirrors at all times. Maybe towards Gracelands be a good time to pull over if instructed, because that is the last real straight piece of tarmac until the school straight itself. Because Tarzan, the run down to it, Travis, can be very, very tricky. The way the track rises and flattens out again, you can see perfectly from that camera angle. From the Leguskas' point of view, you can see how the track kind of elevates and levels out again. So yeah, the instruction hopefully from race control is to make sure everyone who is on the lead lap can get by Gorzelny and get this race underway at the end of this lap.
He has rejoined in the middle of the pack, and there is a little bit of a scuffle trying to, from the cars behind him, trying to take those positions. As we guessed might happen, safety car in this lap. That call just a moment ago on the infield pit straight. So now Vitalis Lagutskas in control. Stuart Baker driving away on the power from the field. It looks like Vitalis Lagutskas has gone early. He has indeed. Well early on the power. Nice gap over Yoni Katila, though this very long run around to the start-finish line and then around turn one. Plenty of time for Yoni Katila to pick up the slipstream, though I think he's a little bit too far behind, Owen. Isaac Price has his slipstream, but Vitalis Lagutskas, I think, just far enough away that he will not have to worry about any challenge coming into turn one.
Oh, and Yanni breaks extremely early. Isaac Price takes full advantage. So it seems like Yanni was just positioned in the wrong spot. It meant his turn-in was not ideal. So Isaac just looped around the outside, and it's a very easy overtake. And probably the easiest overtake anyone will ever get on Yanni Katila.
Yes, indeed. Looked like Yanni was defending the inside line there, though Isaac was a bit far back. Yoni, early on the brakes, I agree. As you called it, Isaac perhaps a little bit late, but nicely done by Isaac to take second position. He wants to be right there behind Vitalis Lagutskas to challenge for the lead, and this crucial championship, these crucial championship points, he is behind Vitalis Lagutskas on the back of Vitalis' win 2 weeks ago. Isaac would dearly love a win here, and I dare say he would enjoy more the credit from me properly recognizing him for a race win. I cheated him out of one of those in the GT4 challenge, confusing him confusing him and Joe Holmes more than once. Isaac Price chasing Vitalis Lagutskas as we begin lap 6 when we cross the line next. There you can see on board with Gabber, fourth in line, fourth position right now. He is live on Twitch if you want to watch his stream. And now we switch to Vitalis Lagutskas, also sorry, Vitalis Lagutskas not live. We're still on board there with Gabber as we chase Vitalis Lagutskas, the leader of the race.
Yeah, and our championship quartet that thrilled us so much 2 weeks ago, all together again. So it's a straight rematch for the win with Victor Veloso, who did not get to start the race properly in Aston. Now he's in contention right behind, and he's left Verzinskas a little bit behind though.
Isaac Price now under challenge from Yannick Till at the front as we look back to cars banging wheels. Jeff and Jakob a little bit ragged there coming out of the second corner. Now Isaac Price dropping back a little bit from Vitalis Lagutskas and under challenge from Yoni Katila. In the commentary box, did I hear Chris Ford?
Can you hear us?
Well, he's unmuted, and I assume he can hear us, but we cannot hear him. So
I can hear you. I was trying to set up my Live for Speed. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the commentary box, Chris.
Yes. Haven't things changed? Isn't it interesting to be watching a Scirocco series? Oh no, not a Scirocco series. Sorry.
Oh, you said it.
Unbelievable.
And there's still a beautiful panel of wood in the FZR that I'm currently watching of Isaac Price, who's trying to fend off Yoni Katia. Interesting start to the race there. Isaac locking up quite heavily into turn number 1, and when I was watching yesterday, it was the fronts that were limited on the FZR because they're trying to push them to stop the heat phase on the natural rear-wheel drive of the FZR. So if he has flat spots, that's going to be a big problem, because that was what happened yesterday. It seemed as though he got some flat spots and that limited his tyre life. So interesting to see what happens coming forward in this race already.
We might have guessed that you would join the box with a bit of cheek, so thanks for the wisecracks about the Scirocco.
Absolutely
we really
fine.
Appreciate that.
I am a child
Looking
of early
now.
2009, Travis. There's still no Scirocco. I actually passed a Scirocco on the road today. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's enough from you. We're regretting this already. Your countryman, Eoin, Cathal Kirkin in 15th position. Strong performance from him and looking for 14th.
Yeah, so the chance for Born to Race to use their strength in numbers today. Croc can be a key example, aka Twin Cam, of course. He's got Dan Bala just in front of him, and any opportunity to attack with Fragmasters, Lukashtik as well in contention. But Ayub will want to help his teammate as soon as he can. So yeah, this is where Born to Race need to use their strength and keep up the good work. But of course, Race Green and Born to Race are very respectful opponents, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun in this battle.
Born to Race, I believe, have the strongest representation of the teams competing today. They have 6 drivers in this race, all of them still on circuit. We were looking briefly at Niko Potola, who's trying to recover from the very back, fighting with Borislav Botev, as we pick up Vitalis Lagutskas one more, who is now behind a back marker that is Jeremias Zanella ahead of him. So
he pitted for repairs, so he's getting lapped indeed right now.
Yeah, so, there we go. Marcelo Neva looking to get inside Dennis Lind. Can't quite do it. That is a very difficult pass. Dennis Lind, good in Live for Speed and also a championship-winning racing driver in real life, so he will not be rolling over. Marcelo Neva, the work cut out for him to get by Dennis Lind. Dennis Lind, once again, joining today, was unable to make round 1. Thrilled to have him here. And now we have a gaggle of cars coming through turn 2. Oh, my goodness, 3 wide, Owen.
Yeah, Niko Pantola in the Sidus car took advantage there, but as a matter of fact, yeah, Botev will hold the inside line into Yentwood. So yeah, that was very exciting. Jeff and Jacob there, of course, for Race Green. It has calmed down now. But yeah, Niko Pantola, a very suboptimal qualifying for him. This is his chance to build his way up from the back. 28th, not the worst outcome in the world, with a lot of laps still to go.
Yep, looking at Vitalis Lagutskas leading everyone away. At the back, Nico Patola now up to 28th position, and they're going, oh my goodness, in the background, they're going 4 wide on the infield pit straight. So lots to see here. There we go, now 2 by 2 once again. Nico Patola has made up 1 position on that classic McLaren liveried car behind him. That is Martin's. That was Martin's going behind him. Yeah, Nico Patola now, I believe, up to 27th, still 28th position. But making up positions early, long way to go yet. Eoin Catilla hard on the brakes coming into the second corner. You can see him just put a little bit of handbrake to help the rear of the car come through the corner. Now Tiefenbacher, born to race driver, on the inside of a 3-way fight, coming around to turn 1 as Nico Patola has gotten ahead of this line. He'll be thrilled to have gotten through this before it pops off once again. So fighting for 30th position coming into turn 2. Nico Patola just ahead of them, fighting with Jeff and Jakob. Jeff and Jakob going to be punted off in the grass once again, though doesn't give up the position. Lots of fighting in our picture and just ahead of it. As we anticipated from the excitement 2 weeks ago, once again, we get to experience and enjoy it in round 2.
Yeah, and something must have happened to Gabor because he's down to 6th. He was 4th, but now he's behind Verzinskat in the Yes Motorsport car. So yeah, something has denied Gabor 2 positions recently. So Veloso has broken into the quartet now and is just off the podium, having lapped Zanella.
Well, you say Veloso is coming, but the problem here he has is his tires are massively hot at the moment, and I think he's going to start struggling in a second if he can't cool them down, especially his right rear, which is with the way the nature of this track, that is going to be absolutely horrific to be driving at the moment. So it wouldn't surprise me if he starts to struggle if he can't cool them down. He looks to have a very aggressive camber set. Oh, he's locking up massively into the first corner as well. Veloso in trouble at the start of the stint, boys.
Gabber now fighting with Darius Verzinskas just behind Hermia Sanella, who's trying to get out of the way of all of this fighting. Surprised not to see angry chat messages. That's one of the rules in New Dimension Racing. No chat during the race, but that often does not stop Gabber. Gabber back down the order, as you said a moment ago, Owen. But notably, Gabber's teammate Rick Cardall has fallen well down the order. So I wonder if the two of them had come together or perhaps were involved with another car because they were running closely together in the order. Now, once again, back to Stefan Tiefenbacher, born to race driver. Now, a little bit of breathing room ahead and behind. This was a 4-way fight, 2 by 2 all the way around a couple laps ago. Now has a little bit of space to put his head down and set some good laps. As we look back now to Dennis Lind fighting for 8th position. That is Marcelo Neva, who has, I believe Marcelo Neva was behind him a moment ago. So Marcelo Neva has gotten through since we last looked at this fight. And we can see just ahead of Marcelo Neva, Jaramillo Sanella trying to maintain pace and stay in the fight, well down the order and far behind any actual competition. But trying to run his own race while the leaders go through. Now, this fight heating up once again, Owen. Tiefenbacher now mirrors full of cars running side by side.
Greta just now into camera shot on the inside of Julio Martins, gains the position. Lovely execution of the move. Firm but fair. And Greta now gains that 32nd position.
Well done by him, late on the brakes into the hairpin corner and then coming around, power down onto the oval. And hearing now Dennis Lind still in a fight with Marcelo Neva. And nope, call that one off, sorry. We'll look ahead to Vitalis Lagutskas, who has completed 10 laps, running lap 11 now. Eoin Catilla chasing Isaac Price between him and Vitalis Lagutskas. And they have built a gap on Victor Veloso. About 5 seconds behind. So the 3 leaders who were all running a line astern just a couple laps ago, I think Gabber must have made a mistake that also happened to collect his teammate, or that is just an unfortunate coincidence that Rick Cardall is so far down the order, guys.
Oh, and that contact Azar versus Lind. They're into Brook Curve now, an aggressive move on the inside and still more contact. no love lost there. And Zanella kind of involved in his own race, of course, within the blue flag. And Paroppo is going to take full advantage of that. Imran Azar losing 2 places, gentlemen.
Yeah, Born to Race drivers, aggressive running at the front. Dennis Lind muscles his way through late on the brakes, but Paroppo will not have this position for long. That is Carlos Macioides up from 19th. Carlos has been a bit frustrated with his performances. Wasn't sure he could do that much better this week. But here in round 2, doing very well late on the brakes, gives the fade to try to cover the inside. Very fair, leaves room there for the Born to Race driver Paroppo to get through, but Carlos Macioides fighting for this position there on the inside, not giving up on it. He'll have the benefit of another right-hand corner here. Still has the stronger position, but Paroppo just ahead of him. 2 by 2, side by side, fighting Paroppo. Now not quite through, a little bit of bumping. And now, Carlos Macioides is going to have a train go around him. Looked like he had those.
There, Travis. Azar
yeah,
back
Imran
through.
Azar through. Yeah, Imran Azar through in the MRC machine. Looked like Carlos Macioides had this done in turn 2. But now fighting back, not giving up. Great driving from Carlos Macioides. Motivated and shows up with a bit more talent this week. He's looking really strong.
Confirm what happened to Gabor and Ricardo. Cardo dropped it on the restart, unseen by our cameras. That's why he's at the back. He spun fully into the wall, clipped a bump on the exit of the right-hander that we're just going into just now. And so that's a left-hander. Look at the stream. And Gabor clipped the grass the next lap and did very well not to save it, but did lose 4 positions.
Unfortunate for Team Sidus. Sidus drivers going backward, losing valuable points, while Born to Race drivers put on a show for us behind this man, the linchpin in the Yes Motorsport effort. Vitalis Lagutskas still leading. That the first 3 positions leading a breakaway, about 4 seconds ahead of Victor Veloso. And now we can see cars streaking through, still side by side. That is Paroppo alongside Imran Azar. Now looking back to Angry Angus driver, one of the Canadian contingent, Reg LeBlanc, as we go forward once again to Imran Azar, ahead of Paroppo. And as that, Carlos Macioides has gotten ahead of both of them. So all of this fighting has caused Carlos Macioides to shuffle forward once again, as we pick up Rick Cardle trying to recover positions ahead of, crucially, a Born to Race driver. It's not Jared Mead, that is Savas Nyerka behind him now. So Rick Cardle on a recovery drive for Team Sidus, while Gabber also tries to recover. And we need to look and see where where fellow Sidus driver, where is Nico Pantola? Nico Pantola behind Reg LeBlanc. So Nico Pantola making up a lot of positions, which he desperately needs to do, because Team Side is having a mare of a day, while the Born to Race drivers look really strong.
Yeah, we return now to the Catilla family. It was briefly Yanni, now it's Yari. So let's see what Yari can do from 22nd at the moment. He's got the Angry Angai, I suppose you would call them. They're 2 by 2 behind, and Nico Patola wants to split these 2 apart. So he's got 1. He's on the inside of the other. Oh no!
Oh,
He's judged it completely. He was clear, but he didn't know. He's made too much of a hesitation. Contact made, and Reg stuck in the wall. That's a huge right side damage.
I was about to suggest that 2 Canadians and 2 Finns on a racetrack makes a bad bar joke, but then Nico Pantola unfortunately thought wrongly that he was not clear when he was, and then made an errant move that put one of the Angry Angus drivers, I believe that was Reg LeBlanc, who came off worse there. Yeah, Reg LeBlanc going backward. Now on board with Yannick Attila, so late on the brakes, my goodness. Right up under the diffuser of Isaac Price's car, so looking like there may be a fight shaping up at the front, as we pick up Gabber now right behind the Yes Motorsport driver of Darius Verzinskas in the FXR, and more fighting further back. Ayub El-Anouni moving up from his starting position, but he's got Sean Lee in his mirrors now, which I wouldn't wish on anyone, boys.
Gabor is making a move for 5th position. down into the oval section, heading toward turn number 1. It's going to be an easy pass for the FZR against the FXR. So he's back up into 5th position after his slight moment in the grass earlier on in the race.
So Lukastic got through on Sean Lee there. It seemed a gentle moving over sort of deal there. That made it very simple. Yeah, Sean Lee running on his own here for air attack. Let's see how he gets on.
And now we look to Nico Pantola, who is come past Magic, though Magic looks like he may fight for this position into the hairpin. Nico Pantola giving him plenty of respect. Tire tracks, rubber down on the pavement as he puts down the power from the rear of this FZR, and now tight racing side by side through the first of these 2 right-hand corners. Nico a little bit later on the brakes, still leaving plenty of room. Now Magic will have the measure of this left-hand corner. Side by side, this is slowing both of them down. They both desperately want to make progress up the order,
Nico.
and arguably quick enough to make up more positions. But fighting side by side halfway around the track, not going to do either of them any favors. And now Nico Pantola yields, lets Magic get away a few car lengths. If the 2 of them work together, they could perhaps make it up into the top 20. Both of them plenty quick in their own right. But again, side by side running, not going to help them much. Now Imran Azar, this fight not having gone anywhere. Imran Azar trying to hold 11th position. Ooh! I think that was supposed to be a bit of a bump draft, or maybe Imran Azar going defensive a bit late, nearly got turned. These 2 will fight all the way down to the 2nd corner.
Well, absolutely. Parappo, yeah, he's just got the front end traction on time. He makes it through. I was just going to quickly say Bojidar Valyanov took his car to pit lane and withdrew from the race, so he is out and will take no further part. But we do have a genuine pit stop for Julio Martins.
Yeah, Julio Martins at the back of the order now. That promotes Jeremias Zanella, who was running at the very back after getting flipped on his lid. Shibin Liu up from the very back. Did not set a pre-qualifying time fast enough to make it into the session, but was allowed to join at the official's discretion as a reserve driver. And now looking at Gabber right there behind Victor Veloso. Gabber needs these positions for himself. Oh my goodness, Gabber famously late on the brakes. Victor Veloso clearly less so. And now Gabber, oh my goodness, nearly turned Victor Veloso around there on the brakes. Gabber will need to make a mental note of that. Once again, you can see his on board. That is his Twitch stream. You can go follow him live on Twitch as he lurks here behind Victor Veloso. Gabber, an aggressive but fair driver, certainly didn't intend to do that. I think caught out by Victor Veloso being early on the brakes, but should have the measure of him coming down to turn 1. Victor Veloso, I think, wisely decides to stay on the outside line, gives Gabber the inside coming into the first sequence of corners, and now Gabber up to 4th.
Yeah, again, Veloso really has no defense there because his tires are so cooked at the moment. He really needs smooth driving at the moment to try and get those through the heat cycle that the XR is currently going through. Gabor has far fresher tires at this point in the stint. The FZR seems to be maintaining it, or the setup on the FZR seems to be maintaining its tire temperatures in a much more consistent way, despite that wobble in the grass earlier. The previous battle we were watching, which was Nico Pantola, he's got a similar issue after his incident on the oval section, where his right rear tire is completely gone. So when he was going side by side to a left-hander, he started to drift, and that made the situation worse. So he had to get out of it. The problem that everybody has is with this tight and twisty track is that the heat peak has to come at a certain point, and it's about managing that the best they can. And Veloso is slightly wide there again, and we had a crash on track, but I think that's a car spectated.
And a telepit.
So, yeah, and a telepit. I wonder if it was in a dangerous position, but it doesn't matter now. He telepitted. But yeah, so that is going to be a massive problem there for all these drivers. That's what they're going through just now. Veloso wisely just letting Gabor go through. Gabor back up into 4th.
Martin's also out of the race. He doesn't fancy his stint after a pit stop, and wide for Jibin Liu there. So he's kind of on his own, second to last. Yeah, thankfully he kept that going. There's Botef on camera. Can he give Jared Mead the opportunity to defend? Yeah, he will let him defend using the apron. So he'll come back up, maybe gain that traction he needs. So slipstream coming, a little bit of weaving and wobbling on the high line. The gentle banking here at Rockingham may help Jared hang on to the inside, but 4 wheels ahead for Botev. Doesn't matter when he's on the outside. Handbrake assist. Beautiful defense from Jared.
Marvelous driving from Jared Mead there. First of a very confusing gaggle of green cars. 3 teams with liveries that all look, well, at a distance, more or less the same. Jared Mead in the Angry Angus team. That is behind him, Borislav Botev in not a race green Autosports machine, Fast and Crazy Sim Sports, and then race green, the other green cars in the race. And that is Nierka giving up that position to Botev. It didn't look like Borislav Botev intended to take that position. And Sinek Sagash across the circuit switches back from right to left and late on the brakes. Fantastic move. Yeah, fair play to him. No contact there, though. It looked a little bit ragged and scary for us.
This is trouble. Nierka's burned the right rear tire. It's in that luminous green status. He's in a huge spot of bother. He's got to wait 2 more cars to clear. Oh, he was very impatient there, folks. But yeah, he is through. But yeah, he sunk. You could see going back to Rockingham Curve, he was in a lot of bother. Now he's got to pit that car.
Yeah, I quickly took my hand away from the push-to-talk key, or our audience would have heard a rather unsettling noise. So I was caught off guard by him suddenly spinning off circuit. Now picking up Dan Bala, very strong performance from him in 12th position. Chris,
I was just looking at him. I was about to we picked him up at the right moment. His front tires, as opposed to his rear tires, are absolutely cooked. And I think that's obviously due to the fact he's gone with most of the team, or most of the drivers competed today have gone for the same compound front and rear, which is why they have to protect the rears, because the same compound will wear at different rates, but depending on where the engine is and what. Oh, and he's got a little touch there, Dan Bala, almost going around, and Bala is running an R2, R3, so he's running a harder rear, which means his fronts are absolutely cooked. I don't know whether there's flat spots or something like that on that, but he is really going to struggle to get through a stint with this like this.
Making do with what he has, though, able to hold this position behind, though I think perhaps owing to what you just said about his tires, Chris, struggling there on the brakes. Looked like he may have locked up ever so slightly, and now he has Imran Azar and another, that is Ayub, making up a ton of positions behind him. This is going to be a 3-way fight coming around oval turn 1, about to go 3 wide. Nope, Ayub El-Anouni thinks better of it, is going to choose the slipstream. A little bit of bump drafting, a cheeky push, and now Imran Azar defends the inside line. Ayub El-Anouni late on the brakes. Going to try to do this around the outside, though it's easier to get the power down. Arguably, in the XRR, these two going to race side by side. Now, Ayub El-Anouni, the inside line, just ahead into the left-hander. Though, Dan Bala going to fight for this position? No. Chooses to yield, falls in behind Imran Azar. Job done by Ayub El-Anouni, has gained 2 position. Yeah, and there we got a penalty, Owen, for Nico Pantola.
Yeah, that goes back to his collision with Reg LeBlanc when he was trying to negotiate both the Angry Angus drivers at the same time. His inability to commit when he just didn't know he had the space he had, so he didn't commit to his overtake, and he put Reg into the wall, and yeah, that is a penalty and a half.
Nico thought he was racing the Daytona 500, I think, and it was a day early, unfortunately, given the weather situation in Florida. But yeah, that's a pretty fair cop, that penalty. I think Nico will be 100% behind that one as well, as he battles his tires, trying to get back up the field.
Dan Bala still trying to make the best of equipment that is giving him a little bit of trouble. Side by side now with Daniel Lukastik, who is going to have this position as they cross the line. There you can see Daniel Lukastik's on board. Live with him, looking left. There's nobody over there. down on the apron, down to the grass, and I think Dan Bala may be able to challenge into turn 1. Daniel Lukastik defending the inside line, and now Sean Lee has joined this party. Sean Lee very wide around the outside, but that will allow him to cut back, get on the power early. We can see him in the background, though not quite early enough. We'll have to fall in this line, follow it around the circuit. At the front of the order, while we watch this fight, Vitalis Lagutskas catching That is Steve Martin. Back markers. So Vitalis Lagutskas now starting to negotiate the back of the field. That could complicate his race a little bit as we continue following this fight with Daniel Lekostic. Dan Bala, who was looking strong in 12th and now going backwards, struggling with the front of that machine, as Chris explained to us just a few moments ago. Great fighting up and down the order. And 1/3 of the way done. Thank you very much, broadcast team, for picking up Vitalis Lagutskas, about to start lap 22. 1/3 of the way finished. Vitalis Lagutskas has a 3.5-second lead over Isaac Price, who leads Eoin Attila in 3rd position, a further 4 seconds behind. Gabber 11 seconds clear in 4th. Victor Veloso holding 5th position. Pauli Peltagongas, side his teammate to Gabber, in 6th, with Darius Verzinskas in 7th. Marcelo Neva still ahead of Dennis Lind in 9th. And then in 10th position, Carlos Machiotis. Great race from him so far, up from, I believe it was 18th or 19th on the grid. So up the order, 9 or 10 positions. We need to look around and see who today's highest climber will be. That was Sean Lee a couple weeks ago. Sean not up as many positions today as he was in the first round, but just looking up and down the order, I would have picked Nico Pantola to be the highest climber before his penalty, but now looking like that will be Carlos Machiotis.
Ayub as well as +10, so it is close, to be honest, between those two drivers for
Good
highest
call,
climber.
thank you.
Pantola has served his penalty. He can rejoin the race. He'll be behind Reed and Nurka, down in 30th, I believe. So, yeah, that's a rough comeback once again for Nico to endure, but we'll give him his dues. He can do it if he really applies himself. Bit of lag for a driver. I didn't see exactly who. But yeah, it's Botev struggling with connection. Hopefully it stabilizes.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him, because he's having a reasonably good day in a good fight. He was working on Cathal Crorkin, your friend and countryman Eoin. Now he's just as it was about to hit the 30-second timer, he is back. So Borislav Botev looked like he was going to be out of the race owing to a timeout. His connection recovers, well clear of Cathal Crorkin, and just ahead of the elder Katila. So Borislav Botev may have a fight on his hands in a moment. That is Jenik Sagash not far behind that fight. As we look once again to Vitalis Lagutskas, Isaac Price, Eoin Attila in the front, well ahead of any challenge. These three just cruising while they contemplate when they will make their pit stops and then end this race.
Yeah, it's not even halfway, viewers. So yeah, it's still a lot to see and do for these drivers. Yeah, obviously pit stops far too soon. Brzezinski attacked the curb at Brook very heavily, so he was kind of following Peltagongas in 6th position. So the two of them attacked the curb using their FXRs and the front wheel drive to full use there, putting them in the air briefly. I'm sure it surprised Neva just behind. Here comes the attack.
FXR on FXR action, choosing to push each other around. This is good teamwork by drivers from two different teams. Yeah, yes, a bit of Daytona, Chris. Thank you. Looks a bit like what I experienced doing some virtual Daytona 500 myself, though with somewhat less death than I experienced. Darius Verzinskas chooses to stay behind. Yes, Chris?
My memory, I am very old, and it is, things can be updated, but I swear that there's a clause in the NDR sporting code that says bump drafting is not allowed on a road course.
Is it really a road course when you're going around the oval portion of a road course?
Yes, we had this debate many years ago.
This is a rhetorical question.
NDR, I think that they might actually give a warning for that, because there really shouldn't be any bump drafting in an NDR event on a. It's different, obviously, on an oval, but yes, that would definitely count. It's a road course. This classifies as a road course, so I would expect the stewards to be looking at that. That probably is a warning for doing that. I don't think that will be allowed by the administration team.
Oh, and this was fun for a few minutes, but now I regret inviting Mr. Buzzkill to the box. We'll just wait and see what the officials say.
I can get more grumpy if you like. I can get more
No,
old
no, no,
man
no, no.
grumpy
This
if
is
you
great.
like.
This is
Let's
great.
not entice the Christer scale.
Yeah, perhaps. Let's not indeed. I was going to mention that apparently Peltagongas, the sole FXR driver in the Sidus stable. The rest of the Sidus drivers, I believe, I can see three of them. Yeah, so 3 Sidus drivers driving FZR. Apparently Peltagongas, the lone FXR driver in the Sidus team, and these two running closely around the oval this time with somewhat less bus drafting. So perhaps they did receive a warning that we did not hear. Oh, they're allowed. Ah, interesting. Okay, so
Yeah,
the
it's
call in the background is they
pre-qualifying
are
and
allowed.
qualifying. You can't bump draft.
Interesting.
Neener, Chris. It does count
Wow.
as an oval when you're going around the oval part of the circuit.
That screams of an American making decision.
Yeah, fair enough.
Deco must John De Palma must be disappointed there's no Daytona 500 today, and he wanted to get his fill of bump drafting.
Oh Lord, that's Neva. That was a portmanteau there of Lord and Gosh, so I apologise for that. But yeah, thankfully Neva continues.
And now looking at Dennis Lind, who's just come out of pit lane, so choosing to serve an early pit stop. Tires and fuel, he will be able to run to the end easily. Chris, I believe you said, you told us in your reconnaissance notes before the race that the FZRs and the XRRs should be able to make 40 laps no problem, and he is well inside a 40-lap margin now, so good to go for the end of the race.
What I wonder, I was watching Dennis closely, and his tires did get quite hot, and I wonder if he maybe had another small slide that's pushed him over the edge, because that is very early. Normally, the quickest way to run an FZR is to just go fully to the end of your fuel. But he had dropped off the back of the group he was with, so possibly just decided that it was time to go. You can make it to the end quite comfortably now and just run a slightly alternate strategy. If he gets a safety car toward the end, that'll actually help, as his tires will be in a more racy position. Sorry, Eoin.
Yeah, Cathal Crochan in trouble there. He's got to look at Dennis there and just let him through. So Crochan down several positions and realizes his tires will not go much further, so he'll pit now. He's going to mind that 80 kilometers speed limit, starting a little bit further back because of the custom build for this track, so he doesn't risk a speed penalty there.
And this is shaping up to be perhaps a born-to-race team strategy. Dennis Lind in 1 lap ago, and now his teammate Cathal Crochan in as well. So we look at Jeff and Jacob late on the brakes. Oh, that is a dive and a half. Somehow avoids contact. I think all credit for avoiding contact there goes to Jared Mead. Sorry, not Jared Mead. That is Reg LeBlanc getting out of the way and leaving plenty of room. Manages to hold the position. I think Jeff and Jacob had to pull up a bit in the middle of the corner to avoid losing the car. And that fight continues. Reg LeBlanc, a little bit of breathing room now, recovering pretty well from having been sent into the fence by Nico Pantola earlier. On the topic of Nico Pantola, still working his way up. He had plenty of clean air to set quick laps, looking for the Erica, the number 9 car, well ahead of him on the road. So Nico Pantola, his work cut out for him. Reg LeBlanc comes off less badly than Nico does, but still well down the order.
Interestingly, the front 3, the sort of breakaway front 3, though really there's a breakaway front 1 with Lagutskas quite comfortably ahead at the moment. 30.97 for Lagutskas, 31.08 for Price, and Katia starting to drop off slightly from Price. In fact, he has dropped a couple of seconds now, 31.29. Not entirely sure if he has some incident somewhere, but his pace is slightly slower than the other two at the moment. It'd be interesting to see if he can get that back, because he will, I think, go the longest out of the 3 with the XRR. So we'll see what comes of that as we approach pit stop time around 15 or so laps.
Big slipstream from Jeff and Jacob around the oval part of the circuit, but unable to make it all the way around. That is
Xibin Liu.
Yeah, Xibin Liu trying to get out of the way of all of these drivers racing, though Xibin Liu is actually properly racing. Woo, Jared Mead just out of the way of a collision there. Xibin Liu fighting with Jeremiah Sinella at the back of the grid. Jeremiah Sinella looks like he's arguably quicker than Jared Mead, or this is actually for position, I believe.
Yeah,
no,
Zanella
it's not.
versus
Jeremiah
Liu
Sinella
was,
still right behind. Yeah, Thank you for the clarification there. Yeah, Jared Mead narrowly avoiding certain death. Plenty of cars coming together around him, but he continues on his way in pursuit of that is Jeff and Jacob, who has just gotten through. So Jeremias Zanella looking a little bit spily. A little bit spicy, sorry, from Jeremias Zanella. Pauli Peltagongas in the Sidus FXR, now trying to make up one more position on Victor Veloso. This was an FXR on FXR fight a moment ago. Darius Vasitskas has fallen a bit further back, and now Pauli Peltagongas wants to find his way into the top 5.
That's a pass for Rick Cardle. Through he goes. And he'll put Dan Bala and his race green car into 14th position now. And there's Steve Martin having to be lapped by yet more drivers. Botef has taken to pit lane, I believe. So he'll be sinking.
Yeah, Stephen Martin, we saw this in qualifying, and we saw this, we saw it a couple weeks ago during the race, and in a couple instances it made the highlight reel as we see Nico trying to go around to the outside of Stefan Tiefenbacher. He's going to go well wide. Ooh, just manages to keep it inside the circuit. I was about to say Stephen Martin in the grass, getting out of the way of the leaders. Drivers doing that, and it is certainly courteous, but I worry that it's going to end up being a bit dangerous. Someone diving for the grass to get well out of the way and then losing the car with less grip than you would normally have on the tarmac. So I kind of wonder if at some point that will become frowned upon as we pick up Jari Katila, who is, speaking of the grass, just been in it. Front of that car badly damaged. A bit of breath for the commentary team here in the background. Unlike 2 weeks ago, which was non-stop action that we couldn't possibly see, this shaping up to be a bit more like an endurance race, boys.
Yeah, the field spread's a lot greater this time. We usually had certainly third and fourth were together a lot in Aston, and battles in the midfield everywhere, and people generally able to stay away from blue flags for a lot of the race. But obviously the shorter Rockingham means that the congestion is clear, and then drivers having to take to the pits are going to be lapped by our race leader. And obviously the safety car bunched everything up at the very beginning, whereas Aston stayed clean until Mead had his roll.
Yeah, so interestingly, Lagutkas again doing the first lap of the race, 1:30.94. Isaac Price again, just a tenth of a second off. Ioni Katia's pace has really dropped off. I'm not sure if he's making minute errors, but he's around about a second a lap slower than the race leader at the moment. And it just feels as though either he might be battling some issue with his tyres, which is why I suspect he's had a slide somewhere, because his tyres were looking in nice, neat condition earlier on, but he just has completely fallen off the pace. His fastest lap is at 1:31.29 at the moment, and I would have expected him to be getting quicker at this stage of the stint. So I think Katia battling issues at the moment, and that's really putting him out of the pit stop window at the moment for being able to overtake Lagutkas and Price on strategy. So work to be done for Ioni Katia. He really possibly at the moment could do with a safety car later in this race.
I suspect that you are right about perhaps having flat spotted a couple times or been sliding, because they're in the right temperature window if we look at the tire surfaces, but they're wearing a bit thin to make it to the 40 lap mark. So yeah, Ioni, I guess he is just managing his race now to go as long as he can and make the second stint as short as possible, while not quite being as confident as drivers around him. Looking down at Magic, the race green car, stopped in pit lane, taking a very long service. He has been stationary for quite some time, and there we go. Rubber down on the concrete from his pit box, and away he goes on the 80 kilometer per hour pit speed limit. And now in the power once again as he rejoins.
And Lagutkas just did the exact same lap time 2 laps in a row. Very impressive consistency at the moment.
That's unreal. Absolutely sensational stuff from our race leader, Leguskas, wanting to pull out a further gap in the championship and wanting to perhaps make it a done deal, 2 for 2. Be very hard to catch him up if he wins 3 out of the next 4, of course. So yeah, he just wants to pull away as much as he can over Isaac. And yeah, this is absolutely wonderful.
One thing I've noticed. Yes, Chris, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the 2 tracks so far have kind of favoured the FXR. I think that Kyoto and West Hill will be very different events for the FXR car. While West Hill's not the flat-out blast it used to be, it certainly will not still favour the FXR. So I think that if he maximises in his first 2 rounds in tracks where the FXR maybe not favoured us entirely, but there were certainly areas of that track where it was virtually impossible to...
So I think you are right, Chris, about West Hill.
What Jonathan was saying there.
Yeah, I'm recalling years and years ago from our Live for Speed youth, the GT Amateur Challenge, which ran GT2 cars, just very similar to these. I think the tuning has changed over the years as we watch Paropo trying to defend 9th position from the Yes Motorsport driver. That is Carlos Machiotis, who is trying to go through. He's there on the outside. We'll watch this down to turn 1, side-by-side fighting. Carlos Machiotis decides to get in the slipstream, pick up a little bit of extra speed well out to the outside of the circuit, hard on the brakes. He might have this done on the outside, but he goes a little bit too deep on the brakes. That'll let him get into power early, but not early enough, and now he will have to continue fighting all the way around the circuit. Follow view, we may have to have a chat with him about this. He usually turns up in the interview room. We'll give him a hard time about it. Pete says in the background, disgusting. I was saying about Vitalis Lagutskas that the FXR, I think it may yet be pretty strong at West Hill, because in the GT Amateur League 6-hour race at West Hill all those years ago, an FXR won. So maybe not too far off the pace as we look down at Sean Lee leaving the pit box now.
Yes, I kind of remember that, and I think that there was a lot of circumstance and also drivers made a big difference. I think in GT Amateur League at that time. So would I put much stock in that? I don't think I would with these current restrictions and the restrictions that are going to be made. There's going to be changes, isn't there, after this race? Is that correct?
Yeah, isn't it the FXR gets a little less... Oh, a puncture, Dan Bala.
So that it gets a percentage, actually a percentage less on restrictions. So maybe then the FXR can be more competitive than we've normally seen at those 2 tracks. So interesting to see. But a puncture for Dan Bala. So as I was saying earlier on, he was always going to have issues with the way his tyres were, and the rooster's come home to roost. Is that the saying, or is it a chicken that comes home to roost?
The chickens
sure.
come home to roost, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's all the chickens.
An off for Jibin Liu, just after the skill straight, as a matter of fact. That's an unusual one. See it. Oh, before skill straight. So yeah, before Tarzan, I should say. Excuse me. Yeah, he's got blue flags to worry about. Krorken and Botef. Yeah, he's got to get his momentum back post haste. Hopefully that car is okay to carry on, but if not, yeah, he should get pitted for repairs.
I have once again another car fully in the grass to avoid faster cars coming through. If it's not already come to their attention, then I certainly might have a word with JP about it and voice my concern. Not that I think he's doing a bad job. Don't misunderstand me. I know he's listening. But cars in the grass, I worry, could ruin a race at some point. Darius Brzezinskas, FXR on FXR battle, now fully on once again. He's in the slipstream of Pauli Peltokangas as they approach turn 1. No dive bomb, it says on the FXR of Vitalis Lagutskas. We'll see if Darius Brzezinskas has one in him for Pauli Peltokangas. He does not. Neat on the brakes, very clean double apex. though not quite quick enough on the power, as Nico Patola is up to 20th position. Owen, where did this come from?
He's just been let through. Reg LeBlanc saw him in his rear view mirrors and thought, oh, that car's already driven into me once today, so I'm just going to let him through. Is basically what happened. But Patola's pace is very impressive, boys. 31.0 for Nico Patola last lap. He had the pace for top position today. Unfortunately, his qualifying effort and then going NASCAR on the banking has caused him some issues today.
Gauge and LeBlanc pit. So yeah, we have a fight on our hands here. Ricardo versus Azar versus Lukashtik for 11th down to 13th. So Imran Azar in the middle of the pack here. Can be very comfortable from Gracelands through to Tarzan. If you're in the middle, someone may get tempted for some action, but yeah, it's clean at the moment.
I'm looking at the race lap chart for drivers further down the order, and the one that stands out to me is Dennis Lind. So he pitted early, had some difficulty with his tires, as Chris discussed some minutes ago, and now he's just not really picked up the pace very much on fresh rubber, though he's been out on track for 10 laps or so on this equipment. He'll be in the worst part of the cycle with these tires. So ideally, they start coming back to him within the next 5 laps or so. As we look at Nico Patola looking for one more position. We'll see if he can get he can go 2 for 2 on Angry Angus kills here, or perhaps not if he wants to make a race out of this. Looking back, great shot from the rear of Jared Mead's car as Nico Patola tries to swipe 17th off it.
Oh, here comes the kitty eyes. Don't want to get psyched out.
I hadn't seen those. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah.
On Dennis Lind, his tyres seem to have had a very aggressive heat cycle again. Interesting to note after this race whether this was a strategy play to pit early, and maybe we'll find out.
That's Isaac Price behind a Yes Motorsports car, I think. Oh, no, it's David Gotch, MRC car. My mistake.
Yeah, Gauge had just pitted, so yeah, he's out of order. So yeah, he's got to defend his position, but let Isaac through on blue flag. So yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah, that's fair play. Yeah.
Very beautifully done by David Gotch there to give the fade and leave room to Isaac Price so that Jared Mead, so that the trailing driver could not overtake. Good recovery from Rick Cardle.
Little by little, Gabor is making inroads into Eoin Katia. The gap is down to less than 4.5 seconds now, and he is the third man in the 1-minute 30s at the moment. In fact, his lap time seems to be a bit more consistent than the two leaders. So Gabor, without that issue earlier on, really could have been a threat today.
Interesting to me that he doesn't get on as well with these cars as he does in the very fast Formula cars with lots of downforce. Especially because the FZR, you drive the rear of the car, and he is so good at getting in the power early after being on the brakes so late that I would I'd expect him to be right up there at the front with Tadas Lugetskas and Isaac Price. But Isaac, especially in the FZR, Isaac so much experience, just ever so slightly quicker than Gabber everywhere around the track. We look to this is FXR battle once again. Defensive line from Pali Peltikangas, and Darius Verzinskas will try once more to get this job done as they come across the start-finish line well in the slipstream. No challenge behind. Owen, will he pull it off this time or no?
Just doesn't seem to want to go for it until okay, I was going to be wrong anyway. So he has finally made an attack on Peltikangas. He had no alternative there. So yeah, Verzinskas waited and waited a long time there, but yeah, you were correct, Travis. Nicely spotted.
Aggressive move on the inside and a little bit of bump and run, but I would call that aggressive if fair. Pali Peltikangas positioning his car as though he's displeased with how Darius Verzinskas pulled that move, but job's done. not far enough away now that he won't have a challenge from Pauli Peltocongas when they come around next time. And this is a back marker ahead of them. They have to negotiate now. Car not getting out of the way. That looks like an Angry Angus machine. That is Reg LeBlanc. Jared Mead in the front of this train now. Jared, I would expect Jared
This
to
is
be
blue
moving out of the
flags.
way here.
Yeah.
I think Darius Verzinskas will be a bit frustrated here, and Pauli Peltocongas will be loving it.
It's awkward. Yeah, look out for Victor Veloso too. Yeah, thankfully all those drivers got safely through. But now Botef is going to be for a valid position against Mead. So yeah, that's all good. They can resume. But now the battle resumes. Parappo versus Montejutus.
Yeah, Careless having a brilliant day today, has been working his way up the order purely on his own pace. Only one car ahead of him at the start of the race has pitted. That is Dennis Lind. So Careless Montejutus, on his own talent, his own merits, has now driven up to, this is very nearly 8th position, side by side with Keke Parappo into turn 2. A little bit late entry, gets on the power early and comes around the second apex, and now he is filling Parappo's mirrors full of his Yes Motorsport red, white, and black machine. He'll want to pressurize him into a mistake, swipe this 8th position, and put down a couple quick laps before he's compelled to come into the pits. It was a born-to-race car with wheels in the grass a little bit further back. I thought that was Keke Parappo after a visual glitch for a second. But hats off to Careless Montejutus. Brilliant race for him so far, and looking strong as they come into the final third of the running.
Pantola has pitted for tires this time around as opposed to his drive-through penalty. But Zanella, it gets worse and worse for him. He was caught speeding in the pits, so already routed to the back. He's going to be even further down with a drive-through penalty.
Fastest lap of the race, Isaac Price 1:30.54, Lagutskas with 30.84, and then Gabor again 30.57 is his fastest at the moment. So he, despite this traffic, he's instead still keeping up and chipping away at Ioni Katia.
Yeah, Ioni threw back markers there. Ioni, his pace also pretty strong, only 3 seconds behind Isaac Price. Sorry, that's 3 seconds. I was looking at the wrong car. That is 3 seconds ahead of Gabber. So all of these cars on pretty close pace now as they approach their pit stops. Ioni should be very near the end of the life of those tires on his XRR. And now with the added complication of these drivers coming through the field, Tautas Lagutskas has lapped through up to about, he's into the 20 positions now. Victor Veloso now right behind Pauli Peltocongas. Pit stops looming and driving through the back markers. This race could get a bit more exciting as we come into the final 20 laps. Pauli Peltocongas, that FXR firmly planted around that corner. Victor Veloso struggling with the rear a little bit. You can see just a slight wiggle on the brakes. And this is a three-way fight now for 5th position. Pauli Peltocongas into the slipstream of Darius Verzinskas, and Victor Veloso will enjoy a bit more power than those FXRs ahead of him have. We might have a banger into turn 2, boys.
Yeah, this is going to be intense. We'll see if Pauli can be beaten a second time into Dean Hairpin. At the moment, now watch out for lap traffic here. That will be Jeff and Jacob coming out of the pits for race green, and that will certainly distract Peltocongas for a brief moment, because that ideal apex was filled with that FXR. So a little bit of an opening for Victor Veloso, and he's going to push as hard as he can to the middle sector.
Very, very close racing now. Victor Veloso right under the diffuser, right behind the rear wing. Oh, he's going to look to the inside here.
That's not a passing place.
Very late on the brakes. And a car off ahead of
Oh,
him.
no!
Oh, my goodness, no!
It was
There's Nico Pantola.
Spun.
Yeah, Nico spun ahead of them. Unfortunate, collected.
He's got puncture, that's why he's got puncture.
How's he gotten a puncture? He just came out of the pits. Oh, he didn't take tires. Chris just said in my other Chris just said in my ear that he had not taken tires. So puncture, Nico spins ahead of that fight. What was looking to be a very exciting three-way battle as we watch Nico Pantola drive. He's driving. I think he's a bit frustrated. He's driving all the way back to the garages, and done for Nico. And now Darius Vasinskis, since he doesn't have to worry about the challenge behind, straight into pit lane for fresh equipment. As we look at Isaac Price chasing with a car, a back marker between him and Victor. Vitalis Lagutskas.
My apologies. He didn't have a puncture. It's Rick Cardle who's got the puncture. He's now got two punctures that I was looking at. I was looking at the wrong purple and white FZR, so it wasn't Pantola who didn't. Pantola must just have dropped it on his own, but Cardle has two rear punctures as he struggles back to the pits. A bit of a disastrous day for him. I wonder if that's related to, obviously he had the spin right at the start, that'll have worn his tyres out, and I think it's just gone a little bit too far. He must have had rear flat spots, both rears gone on the Sidus machine.
Well, awful day for Team Sidus.
Oh, half of Team Sidus, yeah. Yeah, so let's run down our race order as a lap. Oh, well, let's not, because Lagutskas has nominated lap 41 to be his pit lane entry point. So there we go. Lagutskas surrenders the lead to get a service. So Isaac Price takes over his first time in the lead officially in this race. So Eoin Katila will go second, and Gabor Gjor into third. So let's see how Lagutskas gets on with fresh tires, guys.
So I saw Isaac Price do 42 laps yesterday, and that was as far as he got. He got a puncture on the start of the 43rd. So Price needs to put the hammer down to have any chance of getting out ahead. I don't think he's got much of a chance, actually, at the moment of being able to get out ahead. It's all on Eoin Katila, but I think he's lost too much time as well. So I think it's looking very good for the FXR Lagutskas at the moment to maintain the lead after this round of pit stops.
And after that one inspired fast lap from Isaac Price, 30.54, he's been running very close to 31 dead, a couple just over it and one just under it. Vitalis Lagutskas out in P4. That is the FXR of Pali Peltogangas ahead of him on the road anyway. Nope, this will be for position. Pali Peltogangas hasn't stopped yet, so we expect to see him in soon.
Victor Veloso has not taken the time to repair the damage. For the most part, it is cosmetic, a bit of suspension spring damage, but it's absolutely manageable. So I suppose he was just eager to get back going, and 11th place is probably fair enough. And now Isaac on cue, according to Chris Ford there, he pits to avoid any punctures. Oh, good bore. Triple punctures there, so that goes to show. Oh, this is disastrous.
Pushing it very far, I think is what I would say at the moment for these guys.
Yeah, I think this could have been far worse for Gabber, because he's experienced these punctures late-ish in the lap. He's able to get to pit lane. If he had to do an entire lap like this, it would have been far worse. But he will almost certainly lose one of the positions that he had made up for this. Shame too, because... Yeah, shame too. Oh, Isaac Price in the pits. Thank you, Chris.
Ahead, he goes past him well ahead. So the FXR maintains the lead, and that could be very much game over at the moment. I don't think Price has gained too much running that extra lap. Now he has the cold tyres, and it's looking very, very good for the FXR to take 2 wins out of 2 at the start of GT2 Challenge 2024.
I believe you are right. Dan Balla has spun somewhere on circuit.
Yeah, just into Piff.
Yep. Rejoins. No, doesn't look like he was involved with anyone else, and it doesn't look like he has hit anything either. So, car nice and clean. A spin for Dan Balla, but off and going once again. And now Gabber comes out of the pits in P9. He will regain a few positions here as other drivers around him stop, but that cost him several seconds with those punctures. I was going to say, very unfortunate for him that he was so slow in to take service, because before he stopped, he was consistently the quickest on circuit, so he was making up time, a few tenths here and there each lap, but now undone as we watch Jeremy Greed hot into pit lane. Very nice entry from him, and a strong race in the MRC machine for him. 15th position. He'll lose a few as drivers cycle through on pit stops, but he should be mighty pleased with that. And
I
now
tell you
Eoin
who's
leads.
Yeah, I tell you something. Eoin has picked his pace up, and he's now suddenly running at the pace that Lagutskas and Price were running at, a couple of tenths maybe off of them. How many more laps does he have? Peltkangas is in from second place, so the front three are the front three in the right different order. It's 25 seconds between the three at the moment. So it's interesting to see how much further Katia can go. 30.7 last lap, when Lagutskas' first lap out of the pits was a 31.82. So it's, and the XR is slightly shorter in fuel in the pits. So let's see how much of a push on Johnny Katia can do and how much longer he can go.
Brzezinskas versus Peltkangas is going to be really close again now. Oh, it's going to come down to the breaking point. Inside line. Peltkangas rubbing his racing, guys. Let's see if Yentwood will finally split this decision. Yes, Brzezinskas has made it.
Beautifully done. Just enough room given by either driver as they ran side by side as Eoin is in the pit. Oh, very late on the brakes there. Just gets the car slowed down in time. Finds a pit box. Chris was saying that he was running quick laps before he came in. Also, he's gone extremely long. He's come in on lap 45. So shorter fill of fuel than drivers around him. Isaac Price coming through oval turn 4 now, as Eoin is still stationary there by the sin bin. Isaac Price out of oval turn 4. Eoin stopped. Isaac through easily. Now Eoin on the power, and he will pick up the pace. Now he's out in third position easily, and he will be well behind Isaac Price. So Isaac Price has second position easily in hand behind Vitalis Lagutskas, and Eoin Katila has a lot of time to make up. The last driver who had yet to pit, I was about to mention, has just stopped, and that is Ayub El Hanouni. So everything will have shaken out. After all that, Gabber down to 7th.
Yes, I think he should have a chance of getting into the top 5 still. Of course, that kind of Eoin Katia was highly unlikely to make up the time on Price, but Gabor's punctures took the pressure off him there. I was slightly surprised he stopped at the very last stall, though. That really narrowed his angle for getting back out onto the track. Slightly odd decision there from Eoin Katia, but he maintains third position.
So, and now, 3/4 of the way through the race, after this shuffling of positions, I think we can reset the order.
Yeah, Stefan Tiefenbacher, the Iron Man of this stint, so Born to Race obviously had something cooking with their FXRs. So, yeah, he's done very well in that stint. So now I suppose we've all settled down after the scheduled stops. Vitalis Lagutskas, about to begin lap 46, is the race leader. Isaac Price keeping him honest as best he can. So there's a perfect shot of start-finish straight with the top 2 crossing line now. There we go, Isaac with the 131.1 or 131.3 there. Eoin Katila in third position, just getting back warmed up after his long stint. Darius Brzezinskas and Pauli Peltkangas 4th and 5th on your screens now, with Gabor Gior in 6th, also visible for the best of the rest contest. Victor Veloso, absolutely desperately unfortunate to have been involved in a collision that was completely out of his control with Nika Pantola. He's down to 7th, but he's still in contention. Carlos Montagitas taking oval turn 4 now is P8. Zanella and the Yentwood gravel, I believe that is. He's stuck. Is he stuck? Oh, it's like he can't reverse. Yeah, he'd be just stuck again in the gravel, so he has to rock it Austin Power style to get safe back on the track. And there's a battle, Azar versus Parapo, to break up our little top 10 summary. So we got 7 places recorded successfully. The final 3 up in discussion here. Ayub, loosey goosey, Zanella, watch out. Oh, Lorsch again. I'll say Lorsch again. That's all going on with Parapo. Yeah, Parapo ahead.
He's over again! Zanella's over! This time it will be a safety car.
Oh, no.
Yes, he's over like a turtle on its back. He's well out of the way, but it will have to be a safety car. Yes, there we go. He just he decided not to let Dennis Lynn go, and then he just drove into the sleeping policeman and rolled.
Oh.
Well then.
It's JP Provost. Oh, sorry, no, it's Sakis. Yeah, no, it is Provost. It is Provost. Yeah, excuse me.
Well, I had stepped away for just a moment. What happened?
Roll.
Zanella crashed at Yentwood, tried to get back on. He had to rock in and back and forth. Eventually got going. There was a battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th going on. Zanella just avoided that, and then he hit the sleeping policeman into Piff. So he just skidded along on his roof into retirement.
So I was thinking as I had to step away for just a moment, and as I was stepping away, I was thinking about something clever to say. I was scripting what I would say about this race and how it was somewhat less non-stop excitement as the first round, but all of the superlatives that we might say about it in the absence of non-stop action. And then I returned to this, where we have a safety car for Harmon Zanella on his lid after some questionable driving. And everyone on fresh rubber and low fuel will be nose to tail for a restart. You can't make these things up, I guess.
I think it'd be harsh to call it questionable driving. He had the accident, and I think that it sort of mangled the suspension slightly. I think when he turned in, it just sort of lost it, and he sort of clipped the curb and went over at the right angle while he was trying to kind of get out of the way of Dennis Lind. So unfortunately for him, and unfortunately he is firmly beached in the grass. Also, I was going to ask earlier on how many gravel traps are around this track, and I think there are just one, and he did manage to get in that one for a brief second just before that, so that was quite impressive.
There's an achievement for that.
Yeah, Tarzan certainly has gravel as well, Chris, to be honest. So,
True.
4 gravel traps in all. Yeah.
Oh well.
I think the Yentwood one is the most infamous because you have a crash there, you're going uphill, and you can really get trapped.
So we look down from the helicopter on Vitalis Lagutskas, who I think will be a bit frustrated having Isaac Price right behind him playing mind games as they drive around under the safety car. He had done the job and had enough margin to just cruise. And now, once again, he will have to earn a race victory. He had to take first position from Isaac Price in the first round. Now he has Isaac Price behind, but all of these drivers in tow behind him, Isaac Price, Yoni Katila, perhaps not Borislav Botev, but the top 3 running line astern behind Stuart Baker. Any one of these drivers have the pace and the talent to win this race. Vitalis Lagutskas, I think, would have been much happier just driving the final 15 laps without this pressure.
Yeah, we have a safety car wave around procedure to take place. So the cars that are currently 1 lap down will be allowed their ability to unlap themselves. So Jonathan Palmer will call out race numbers, and I think Borislav Botev will be the first such driver a lap down who will be able to regain his lap. So there we go. Number 46, Borislav Botev, and number 27, Jeffem Jacob are allowed through. And number 4 as well, Yari Katila. And there we go. These numbers will start appearing one by one.
A few more as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw the 98 and the 73. That'd be Jared Mead and Jeremy Greed. The Mead Greed going around the outside. 67, 59. That is Stephen Martin and Reg LeBlanc. So both of the Angry Angus drivers will be reunited and able to rejoin the end of the field. Dennis Lind requesting permission to chat. There are accusations of the 18 passing under safety car.
Yeah, he's letting back through.
There we go. Fair enough. Seems like an honest mistake, quickly rectified by the drivers themselves. And now this line of back markers going around the leaders. There's Tiefenbacher, Greed, and everybody getting lined up now. More drivers. The 70 and the 22 called around. That is Cathal Crokin, the Irish driver. The 22 is Stefan Tiefenbacher, and 85 as well. So lots of back markers. That's Magic Klimchik being allowed through now. So lots of drivers being shuffled around. So all of the leaders are in contention. What I enjoy about this procedure, in very stark in very stark contrast to what I experienced at the Indianapolis 500 in 2019, is how efficiently the New Dimension Racing officiating team sorts out the order. They have started calling these numbers as they began this lap, the 49th of asking, and before they've even gotten around halfway, coming around the final corners now. So before one lap finished, they've gotten all of the back markers through. Very efficient job by the officials. The New Dimension Racing team do not mess around. Very professionally done, and we should be under racing in, I would guess, in a lap or two. The 18 being called around, so almost done sorting out the order, and we should be back racing in just a minute.
Yeah, now that everyone who has been given the wave around, they'll have a slight opportunity perhaps to put extra life into the tire. That should be, yeah, that should be a chance for them to get a little bit of extra warm up. But the confusion, yeah, the confusion for Kaike Parapo, he's been asked, to overtake the queue and start over. So yeah, he got overtaken under safety car, and then Dennis Lynn said he was overtaken. So it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. Yeah, Parapo, yeah, if he's given the all clear to go, yeah, and then he has to go. Yeah, so yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, Jonathan Palmer says his notes are a mess, so we still need 100% clarification.
I've just finished singing their praises, and you throw them under the FXR bus like this. Unbelievable, Owen. Notably, in this confusion, a few drivers expressed their doubt that Kaike Parapo should be overtaking the line, and then Parapo himself asked why he should be overtaking. So, I think the drivers had a clear idea what was going on, and in the shuffle, JP lost one of the drivers. An honest mistake, quickly rectified. Stephen Martin speeding in the pit lane while under safety car, a very unfortunate and embarrassing mistake. 73 being called through now, that is Jeremy Greed, and he is all the way at the back, so I don't imagine he's not getting through. So I think perhaps that number 73 call was not to overtake the line. That was another note. And now here we go. Car 39 due to overtake the number 18 Kaike Parapo. That is Daniel Lacoste. That makes perfect sense. And then we will be neatly shuffled in order to resume racing. We will get about 9 or 10 laps. Car 60 overtaking 18. So now Dennis Lind has been promoted to his rightful position, and I think we've got it all sorted out.
Oh no! And Parapo and Lind collide after all that. Yeah, Dennis, very aggressive tire warming, but yeah, I think, yeah, Parapo's just settled back into his spot in the field, and then Dennis Lind is just going very heavily on his tire warming. So yeah, that's another confusion to add to that list.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic mistake there from Dennis. Unfortunate. He usually turns up in the interview room at the conclusion of these events, so
safety car will be in at the end of this lap.
We'll ideally get his point of view. Very unfortunate for Kaike Parapo. Almost certainly that will become a penalty for Dennis Lind, because Parapo is well down the order now, catching up the back of the line. Safety car in this lap was the call from JP just a minute ago. Stuart Baker pulling away now. Field under control of Vitalis Lagutskas. There it is, safety car in this lap, the official message for us. And there it is in the yellow bar on screen. And Vitalis Lagutskas, the aggressive tire warming technique all the way around. Ooh, Isaac Price nearly gets into him. Another note from my view in the commentary box is perhaps time to review the tire warming rules, because very aggressive weaving by some of these drivers has caused a few near collisions and one actual collision. Coming through final corners now, Vitalis Lagutskas working the fronts as quickly and as aggressively as he can. That is Parapo now having caught up and moving through, trying to rejoin his position, I assume.
There we go.
And Vitalis Lagutskas on the power. Take him away, Owen.
Yeah, he was holding it on 80 kilometers per hour as if he was in the pit lane. And at last on corner entry, we have the launch. Green flag is go. Can Isaac Price do anything about it? It's the second time the Guskas has led us after a safety car. And it's another example after Yanni Kittil, I think, was caught on the hop the first time. It's now Isaac Price trying to catch up. Yeah, he will gain that overspeed. 2 kilometers an hour better off, but it's not enough. So Laguskas, oh, he's using the handbrake, and Isaac
Lind going 3 wide. Lind going down the inside with 3 wide, and he's made it stick. Good move there from Dennis Lind. The aggressive tyre warming paying off there. He was a much more confident under braking into the first braking zone there, and he's up into what that must be 10th position.
Yeah, Zara's currently 10th. Yeah, now Parappa on his way back up the field after the direction and redirection during the safety car period. So his first task is to overtake Angry Angus's Jared Mead. So let's see how that progresses. But into Gracelands and now Tarzan. This could be the critical moment for a lot of these drivers. Ayub El-Hanouni behind Motojitas, getting a little bit intrigued for a position. But yeah, it seems like for the most part these top 10 drivers are all clean. Side by side, that's Dan Bala on Barislav Botev. Great defense from Botev though.
So Carlos Maciotas and Ayub El-Hanouni fighting for this 8th position. Both of them, I believe, they're locked in a battle for 8th and also locked in a battle for the highest climber points. A mighty drive from Carlos Maciotas. Victor Veloso now right under the rear wing of Gabor. Has to choose the outside line, nearly gets into the wall as he drifts up the circuit. They're going to be side by side coming through turn 1. No, Victor Veloso chooses to drop back into the slipstream. We'll have to look for the position in turn 2, but is too far behind. Imran Azar side by side, another sidest machine. That is Rick Cardall on his outside. And a little bit of the handbrake in the first apex, side by side on the exit. Too much power for Imran Azar and Rick Cardall. Brilliant recovery so far. Started the race in 5th position, 5th or 6th position, well up the order. Has recovered to 12th so far. David Gaj alongside Zdenek Sagash. That is magic behind them. Botev, a little bit of a collision, and now 3 wide. Drivers think better of it. 2 wide coming through these
Sagash.
winding bends.
Oh, he's put Dan Bala into a very painful crash there. He's on the curbs. Watch out now. There be the race green and the Angry Angus, so they avoid any collision. Oh, that would hurt. That would really be painful. And Sagash is sinking as well, so he's realized his mistake, and yeah, the stewards will be on him post haste. Now back at the front, it's still close. Look at this. We've got the Yes Motorsports Motojitas, we've the Sidus in the sandwich there, and Energy Virtual, of course, with Veloso, who really wants his top 5 back if he can get it.
Yeah, Carlos Maciotas has found himself among a number of very aggressive drivers who are typically a little bit quicker than he is. Dennis Lind gets through as Carlos Maciotas is muscled aside by Born to Race drivers, and now Rick Cardall, Daniel Lacostic in a slipstream train. This is going to be 3 wide. Now, as Daniel Lacostic goes the outside of Rick Cardall, Carlos Maciotas wants to stay very tight to the inside. He may not know that he's 3 wide. Daniel Lacostic decides to tuck in behind, uses the slipstream a little bit early on the brakes so as not to get in the rear of Rick Cardall, snaking under braking. Carlos Maciotas very aggressive on the brakes, side by side with Rick Cardall, not yielding this position to Daniel Lacostic behind. Carlos Maciotas making the most of a very difficult situation, holding his own with the front runners in Live for Speed.
It carries on. There's still a matter to be decided here. Motojitas trying to get back into the top 10, following behind Rick Cardall. And you can see now Veloso, yeah, he's going to peak. Maybe to use the switchback on Gabor. No, it's not quite enough. Now the run down from the school straight to Brook Curve. Beautiful camera shot here. True to television, I'm sure that one is. Let's see now the Veloso one more time. Can he do another switchback here? He's got to go medium. Turning, Gabor almost hit the tires. Gabor very close to hitting that solid tire barrier, and Veloso gets his pass at last.
Very, very good spatial awareness by Gabor to know just how much room he has behind the car to be able to tuck in and use the full track in the braking zone. And then a little bit too deep, a bit too much power, hits the tires, lets Victor Veloso through. Fantastic performance from Victor Veloso with a somewhat damaged machine, though. Gabber right there in his slipstream again. Victor Veloso takes the defensive line well down on the inside. Gabber thought of it, chose better. And now we have Gabber's onboard shot, his Twitch stream, Sidus Gabber. If you want to see him live, puts a wheel in the grass, nearly loses it. Brilliant opposite lock save. And now Victor Veloso has some room to breathe. Imran Azar fighting behind with Daniel Lekostic and Darius Versinskas behind. No, not Darius Versinskas.
Sorry, Daniel. Yeah, excuse me. Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Lekostic. Carlos Machiotis has gotten ahead from this group and is now lurking behind Rick Cardle. So Carlos Machiotis not going away. Imran Azar trying to get through Daniel Lekostic. Very exciting racing up and down the orders. We look for Pali Paltagongas to try to get through Darius Versinskas again. Yet more FXR battling. These two have not given each other an inch for the first 55 laps of this race. Darius Versinskas now with mirrors full of Pali Paltagongas, and almost certainly Pali will have the slipstream coming down the front straightaway as long as he gets the power down nice early in the power and a better line on the way out. We'll have to keep an eye on two battles here. Cathal Crorkin up to 21st ahead of the world-class Lions machine of Jari Katila. It is all popping off from P4 down to P20.
Yeah, it is pulsating once again from these drivers. Yeah, the safety car, not to everyone's liking in our Twitch chat. Just the timing of it may have frustrated the excitement, but it certainly built its way back up now. And we're in for another superb conclusion. Yes, groups of drivers. Versinskas taken to the grass a little bit out of Yentwood, and Paltagongas keeping very close for this battle on board with Veloso. Yeah, this is going to be intense.
I'll tell you who this is benefiting, that safety car benefits. Remember earlier on I said that Dennis Lynn would be hoping that there'd be a safety car later in the race with the strategy he's on. Well, it's kind of coming true at the moment. Lind is catching this 5-4 car battle in front, two FXRs, Veloso and Gabor, at a considerable rate because his tyres don't need to go through a heat peak again. He can get the hammer down and not have to baby them in this final few laps, and now he is catching them at quite a considerable rate, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he ends up somewhere in the middle of this pack by the end of this race. It'll be difficult for him to make it past this, but to get to the front of the pack anyway, but he certainly will be thinking that he can get through a few of these.
Rick
behind,
Cardle. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Owen.
Yes, it's Rick Cardle on Ayoub's inside, so that was just the group behind Dennis Lynn there. They're probably 2 or 3 seconds off the Danes' time there, so yeah, this will be another sensational battle to watch, and using every inch of the apron. Wow, that's going to push Rick now. You might have to, yeah, he's got to modulate his steering to make sure he doesn't understeer. Ayoub now pulls up high, getting into the brake zone for Dean.
Careless behind them. Yeah, the two of them sliding ahead, jockeying for position. Careless having the benefit of the whole racetrack and clear vision ahead of him. Late on the brakes, tucks in right behind these two. Very, very close racing here for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th position. This is 9th position with Rick Cardle. But further ahead, you said, Chris, that Dennis Lind was catching this train, and he has done. Darius Versinskas, Pali Paltagongas arguably holding up Victor Veloso behind them with their fighting. But Dennis Lind has caught Gabber and will be right there on the end of the line, led by Darius Versinskas in 4th position. Carlos Machiotis inside. Oh, has a look on Ayoub El-Hanouni. Gets the power down, but is unable to stick with him on the exit. Ayoub fighting for this position, loses contact with Gabber ahead of him. Sorry, with Rick Cardle ahead of him. But Victor Veloso now right on top.
Veloso slightly sliding. He made contact at the back of Paltagongas, and he is now going to lose out to Gabor on the exit of the final corner. And now Dennis Lind is going to get a run on both of them and might be thinking about making another double pass down into the first braking zone. Gabor will defend the inside line as we saw in the previous lap. That seems to be the favourite tactic. Defend all you can on the banking. Paltagongas Veloso goes wide. Lind switches through the middle. Is he going to get them both? Gabor goes to the inside. Lind goes slightly around the outside. Contact. And they're pinching each other to the apex. And Veloso drives into the back of Gabor. And Dennis Lind has made up to 2 positions there. But that was a very, 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 very tight manoeuvre there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's protests on that one at the end of this race.
I think it's fair. That is so aggressive, but Dennis Lind left him a lane. Gabber tried to come up the racetrack, but Dennis was there. He can choose his line. But as you said, 2 for 1 in one position. Carlos Machioidis is through on Ayub. Careless, inspired today. Brilliant driving in the Yes Motorsports machine. Action, again, up and down the order. We got to relax for the first 50 laps, and now action everywhere, fighting for position from 3rd place all the way down to 11th. Ayub El-Anouni has to yield this position, and now he's defending behind. He has to hold this position from Daniel Lekostic, who wants to get through. Little bit of room for Carlos Machioidis to just put his head down and breathe. And Sean Lee, we've not talked about Sean Lee for probably an hour. He's come up the order as well. Late on the brakes, up and over the curbing, all of it. Just ever so slightly. Very slight contact. Sean will remind everyone is in Singapore. I think that's probably a lag hit, guys.
Yeah, there was a slight juddering as he came off the curb, so it looked like it, yeah.
Yeah, he left plenty of room, and I think just, an unfortunate incident there. Sean, that was clean. But Sean is through. Dennis Lind now lurking behind Pali Peltagongas, and Dennis, with 2 laps to go, has plenty of pace. Imran Azar, MRC on MRC here. His teammate David Godge, Texas, going 3 wide, trying to get by Sean Lee. 3 XRRs trying to fit into the space of 1 with Sean Lee at the front. Sean Lee using the handbrake to get around the corner. Amazing traction on the exit by Sean, holding this position.
I think the calmest people on the track are the top 3, because I don't think much is going to change there. Lagutskas comfortably ahead of Price, ahead of Katia. We're watching Lagutskas driving this FXR around this track, whereas everybody else has to be neat and tidy. He's just, I don't think he's taken the same line through 2 corners at any point in this race, from what I've seen. It's quite a remarkable thing to be watching. Yeah, so back to Dennis Lind.
Yeah, maybe he didn't get the exit he wanted out of Tarzan, Chris, because he would have been a lot closer than that when you were bringing up his name. But yeah, he may still have a chance. 2 to go at the line as Lagutskas is at oval turn 4 at this stage. So if Dennis can get another one of those powerful slipstreams, then yeah, absolutely, Team Sidus's Peltagongas will have to show a lot of defensive guile with Gabor earlier on getting beaten on the braking zone.
Dennis got a sensational exit coming back onto the oval, using the rear of the car to turn in, power down very early at the very limit of traction, and now he is well into the slipstream. The Pali Peltagongas ahead of him. Top speed advantage over the FXR, but he's not close enough in his FZ. Very late on the brakes. Pali Peltagongas using the handbrake to try to get the car to comply with him, and now Dennis Lind right under the diffuser of Pali Peltagongas. Darius Verzinskas not that far up the road, about a second from Pali Peltagongas, so Dennis Lind a tall order to overtake the 2 of them in the remaining lap and a half, but not impossible. He has plenty of pace and just enough time. He could, with a slipstream, another good exit out of the final corner, be right there with Pali Peltagongas. So Dennis Lind lurking for a top 5. Things have shaken out a little bit further back. Gabber about a second behind Dennis Lind. Dennis makes a mistake. Gabber will be there to pounce. Victor Veloso still harrying Gabber behind him. And Rick Hardall, great recovery, is still ahead of Carlos Machioidis. Sidus drivers was looking pretty bad early on in the race, but now the points a bit better than it was in the earlier running. Vitalis Lagutskas coming around to start the final lap now. Down on the apron, Isaac Price, no challenge, 1.2 seconds clear. Vitalis Lagutskas, dominating performance for him, only yielded the lead during the cycle of pit stops to Isaac Price for 1 or 2 laps. And here he comes now through the first corner, hard on the brakes, going to use the handbrake to make it turn in around the first apex. The second, nice and tidy on the power, up and over, very precise on the sausage curve. Well at the back, Daniel Lekostic trying to make up positions after getting after having contact with Sean Lee. No fault of Sean Lee's, just a bit of a lag hit, unfortunate racing incident, at least by our estimation. And now Vitalis Lagutskas, halfway through this lap, appears to be on for a race win.
Yeah, if we think back 3 years ago, Vitalis finished 33rd. He had a DNF and he classified 33rd. So this is a massive step up. Whereas Isaac Price, who won that race back in 2021, he has to look and see if there
Dennis
is
is
a
on
runner-up. That's
Peltikankis.
the best you're going to get.
Dennis Lind is overtaking Peltikankis, or trying to at the moment. They were side by side into the hairpin. He's trying to go around the outside of him at the moment. Can he make it stick? Oh, he has to back out of it.
We'll keep an eye on this battle as Vitalijs Lagutskas come out of the final corner, easily clear of Isaac Price. We will follow Vitalijs Lagutskas around the corner and take him across the line for victory. 2 from 2 in the GT2 Challenge. Dennis Lind exiting the final corner now is not in contact with Pelli Peltikangas. Gabber not far behind, but neither of these drivers will be able to reclaim another position. Dennis Lind in the slipstream, closing, but too late. Pelli Peltikangas will secure 5th position. Very, very exciting running after a late safety car. Great drive from Dennis Lind. Yes, Chris, go ahead.
Yes, sorry. Ricardo got Veloso on the final corner, out of the final corner for 8th position. Veloso was quite angry with his finish, I think, there to the race, but Ricardo, a good recovery there to 8th.
Oh, photo finish, nearly. Jari Katila wins it by probably 0.05 of a second thereabouts. So yeah, well done to Jari. And yeah, that was quite the ending, I have to say. Another excellent showing. But yeah, Lagutskas, he puts that disappointment from 3 years ago behind him. He is today's winner.
Fantastic drive from Vitalijs Lagutskas, dominating performance. The last few cars crossing the line now. I believe we have an official result. Stephen Martin, there we go, crossing the line a lap behind Stefan Tiefenbacher. And a couple more yet to come through, but they will be a lap behind. There you see the final result. Vitalijs Lagutskas 2 from 2 in the 2024 NDR GT2 Challenge, ahead of Isaac Price, 1.5 seconds. That was a much larger lead before the safety car, but Vitalijs Lagutskas able to consolidate a victory despite bunching up the order late in the race. Jani Katila finishes in the bronze medal position, 6 seconds back of Isaac Price. Darius Brzezinskis and Pelli Peltikangas in the dueling FXRs. Plenty of excitement from the two of them for the entire running of this race. Finish ahead of Dennis Lind in 6th. Gabber falls to 7th after a triple puncture, which could have been much worse, able to get into pit lane relatively quickly to remedy his tires. Ahead of his teammate Rick Cardall in 8th. Victor Veloso finishes 9th. Carlos Machioitis, brilliant drive from him. Congratulations to him for a 10th position finish. Had to fight all the way against another high climber, Ayub El Hanouni, in 11th. Ayub was ahead of Carlos. Carlos managed to retake that position. Sean Lee, a 3rd contender for the high climber points, in 12th. Imran Azar, 13th. David Gaj in 14th. Our own friend Zdenek Zagash in 15th position ahead of Jeff and Jacob. Kahal Kroken in 17th. Jared Mead finishes 18th ahead of Magic. And Jari Katila rounds out the top 20. Isaac Price credited for the fastest lap of the race on 1:30.54 seconds. As we look to the second page of results, Dan Bala finishes 21st ahead of Jeremy Greed, Daniel Lekostic. Reg LeBlanc came together early with Nico Pantola. What might have been finishes 24th position ahead of Borislav Botev in 25th. Stefan Tiefenbacher finishes ahead of Stephen Martin. Kaike Paropa, Jeremias Zanella in 29th. Nico Pantola 23 laps back in 30th. And from 31st down to 38th position, we have Nierka Shibin Liu. Great drive from him. From very last, allowed to join the race by the official's discretion. He was a reserve driver, did not pre-qualify, makes up 6 positions to finish 32nd, so congratulations to him. Neva finishes 30th ahead of Lishnersky, Bojnar Velinov, Martin, Cyril Bisset in 37th, and at the very back, 61 laps down, Grzelny finishes 38th. Wowee, boys. We had a bit of a breath in the middle of the race while it was shaking out. Drivers getting spread out. We had the cycle of pit stops that shook things up a little bit, and now we get a great conclusion to this race after a safety car finish and side by side, wheel to wheel racing to conclude the second round.
Jeff and Jacob was the highest climber, I believe, plus 16 positions. So he doubled, I suppose, from 32nd to 16th. Very nice.
And I had completely missed that. So well done to him. That is 1 point or 2 for highest climber. I believe it's 1 point for highest climber. Could be 2. We will now, after getting a great shot of the podium here and running down the finishing order, we will take a break for 1 minute and invite everyone to join the interview waiting room if they would like to have a chat in the commentary box. We will be back in just 1 minute. Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in today to Sim Broadcast for the return of the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge. This, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Stuart Baker is off into pit lane.
We are green flag racing for GT2 Challenge, and there's the launch.
Side-by-side racing once more. Ooh. Even more so.
Oh, yeah, Jared and Julio Martins have collided. Martins now facing the wrong way. Oh, goodness me. Oh, big collision. And into the turn 7 gravel trap.
This will be a safety car.
Another 30 laps or so to go. This is far from over. So here we go, Travis.
Price behind two cars that are racing one another.
Yeah, Isaac Price and Vitatas Laguskas
side by side in the Eau Rouge complex. One backer marker separates them from Yannick Attila behind. Vitatas Laguskas through into the lead.
Neck and neck, they won't yield whatsoever. Vitatas Laguskas wins round 1 of the 2024 GT2 Challenge. And welcome back, viewers. That was one heck of a race yet again for GT2 Challenge 2024, and we are ready to begin our interview segment, starting off with our back-to-back winner, Vitatas Laguskas. So, Vitatas, many congratulations again. How did that compare to 2 weeks ago?
Hi everyone. I guess the biggest difference would be is that I could have led this race, while in Aston I was the one chasing Isaac. So that's the biggest difference for me, and I guess in qualifying FXR is a lot quicker than it was in Aston.
Yeah, qualifying you put on a commanding performance. You had pole position for basically the entirety of the session, and then, as you said, led almost the entire race. Do you expect this performance, or the performance of the car, to continue in the next 2 rounds, or are you going to have to fight harder?
I'm not sure about the car performance. Haven't tested it with less restriction, because next rounds it will have 1% less. So I guess I'll be happy if I'll be able to get into top 3 into one of those 2 rounds.
And talk us through the safety car restart there. You had the race well in hand, and then once again, a wrench thrown in the works.
Yeah, restarts are always stressful, and I knew I had Isaac behind me on the restarts, so the thing for me it was that the FXR is all-wheel drive, so I just use turbo and I can accelerate very early in the last turn. So I basically make myself half a second gap, though he couldn't catch draft from me on the straight. So I guess the restarts worked out well.
Yeah, so now that leads us to the third round in Kyoto. Yeah, the fact that you've got the solid lead 2 out of 2, and of course that 1% drop. So yeah, is there the opening for a potential hat trick? Do you think you can do it?
Oh, probably not. I wouldn't think so, especially if Isaac is driving, because he's always fast, no matter what. And I think, yeah, FXR, even with less restriction, shouldn't be as quick as XRR. I guess I heard Eoin won't be driving next round, so maybe Veloso or someone else in XRR could actually win the race, because it should be fastest car over there.
Yeah, very much worth thinking about heading into the next round. So Vitautas, thank you very much for your time, and enjoy your victory.
Thank you, guys.
Now, second placed Isaac Price is now ready for an interview. Isaac, how do you think that went today?
Went terrible because I didn't win.
Could you elaborate?
Nah, I just think in quali I probably could have got pole, but I thought that third would be better, but it didn't work out that way. And then once like Goosecast was just in clear air, he was just too fast. Yeah, there's not much I could do really. Even like on the restarts, the FXR was just so fast off that last corner that it was never going to be possible unless he made a mistake, really. But I tried my best to just keep him under pressure and keep it interesting.
Yeah, the popularity of the safety car restart was questionable at best. I assume it didn't bother you too much because it gave you a final chance at a race win. Did you feel like it was in reach when you were able to restart right behind him, or no?
I think the problem for me was mostly that like the period where we were going to be restarting, in terms of like the stint, was probably my weakest part, because like for the first 10 laps or so of the stint I'm not too bad, but then the second like 10 laps for some reason I just burn my tires and I can't control it particularly. So I knew it was always going to be tough, but it was still better than trying to catch like a 2-3 second gap. So yeah, it gave me a 1 lap chance, and I tried to put together the best quality lap I could for that restart lap, but yeah, just didn't get opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah, I suppose to wrap it up, I'll ask yourself, Isaac, how you feel about 2 weeks, because it feels like perhaps you are the favorite heading into it.
I mean, to be honest, the XRR should be quite a lot faster than the FZR around here, I think. Especially, I don't know if you guys remember, but Eoin did a 0 stop here with R2R2 XRR. Yes, but yeah, I think that pace-wise, that's going to be pretty difficult to match, because FZR won't be able to do R2R2 and do the whole race, I don't think. So yeah, I think it'll be tough, but then Eoin's treated himself to a nice holiday in Bahrain, so that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether any of the other XRRs can step up and take it. But to a point, I kind of need them to, because I need them to be ahead of Vitautas, but not ahead of me. So yeah, that'll be quite interesting. But yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, so Isaac, thanks very much for your time, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, will do.
In fourth place, we had Darius Brzezinskas today, and he is now in our interview room. So Darius, do you want to describe how that went for you today?
Hello everyone, it was really good race for me, maximized everything that I could on other people's mistakes, really glad to get before. I think that's my best results in GT2 champ, so yeah, really glad on that.
You got lots of airtime. Your fight with Pali Peltagongas that seemed to go on for the entirety of the race. Talk about that battle and the trading of positions, just being nose to tail for 60 laps.
Yeah, I was quite in a side sandwich from get-go. So early on, I led Botzer on his own race. At one point, we did some tactics to get closer to Veloso. I bumped after him one lap and didn't overtake, so next lap he understood that I want to do that to get Veloso, not to overtake him, so we closed into Veloso. That worked really brilliant. When I did pit, I expected to be behind him, so I was kind of surprised that out of pit exit he was right beside me, so I just went for it because I knew if he gets in front, most likely I will be P5 or lower, so that worked really nicely, and it was really good to battle him side to side, really on the limit, but really clean.
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, the small matter of Kyoto in 2 weeks could be a crucial one with the championship halfway completed now. So, do you feel kind of similar to Vitautas in that it could be a challenging one for you, even if you have a reduction in the intake restriction?
Yes, it will be more challenging as Bus is just slower on fast turns and eats more tires, so it will be harder to follow the cars, and on raw pace it will a bit slower, but not as bad as it was before when 24, so maybe top 8 is possible. Before that, I think top 15 will be max with Bus here, but now it should be a lot better, but we will see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, thanks very much for your time, Darius, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye. Top 10 finisher today, Carlos Motogitas, also for Yes Motorsport. Do you want to describe your race after a 19th place grid slot?
So the race I was ecstatic about my pace up to the safety car. I managed to climb up to P8, and seeing the fight behind me, I was quite certain I'll be able to keep my P8. But then the safety car came in and bunched everyone up, and I lost 3 positions, I think, in one lap. Well, it was my mistake because I went off on an off-road excursion, so what can you do, you know? But yeah, otherwise I really enjoyed the race, and yeah, you're laughing at my chase cam, but see the results. I mean, the last race,
you heard
started.
That.
Yeah, so you can see how much, well, in this case, better it is for me to go like this.
Yeah, that you lost a couple positions after being all the way up to P8, as you said, but you were able to fight Ayub and retake that 10th position. After we interviewed you a couple weeks ago, and you were, I think, a little bit disappointed with your result. This has to feel like a win today. You looked really strong there at the end.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about the pace. I did my personal best during the race. Well, that's nothing surprising. I'm really bad at qualifying usually. Well, previous race was out of the norm in all regards, in my qualification position, in my race pace, how my position changes throughout the race. But yeah, this was more towards the norm, actually better than usual.
And just a final question, Carlos, I've asked your other teammates as well about it, but from the XRR perspective, how do you feel Kyoto is set up for you?
To be honest, I am not entirely sure about the strengths between FZR and XRR. I know that bus should be slower. Well, it will get a buff of 1% less restrictor, but otherwise I can't really comment because I haven't really driven FZR myself. So yeah, I think it's good at fast tracks. So yeah, should be good.
Yeah, we'll find out for definite in 2 weeks. And until then, Carlos, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again in that fortnight.
Yeah, thanks. Bye bye.
Our final offer for an interview today, Sean Lee has come forward after a 12th place finish for Air Attack Racing. Sean, thank you very much for your trailer. It was a fabulous job. It really helped the broadcast during the break. So you have a little bit of work cut out, but you did a great job, I have to say, qualifying 17th and finishing 12th.
Yeah, once again, thanks for the broadcast. It was fabulous. Although this time I didn't watch the broadcast, so I didn't listen to any of you guys, but I watched the screen below my monitor and it was pretty hectic up the front. So yeah, trailer-wise, yeah, glad that you guys enjoyed it. Maybe the next one for the second race as well. We'll see whether I have time.
Sean, looked like a pretty clean race. Had a little bit of contact in the later running that looked like a lag hit. Yeah, just talk us through the moving up the order.
Yeah, so coming to this race, I was focused more on actually doing work outside of sim racing, so I had very little practice for this one. Barely scraped into the top 20 with the qualifying, not very pleased about that, but tried to make up the ground in the race. At first, setup wasn't that great. Had to make some adjustments to the wing levels and the tires. But after the second safety car was in a really good position, we were in a TeamSpeak sub-lobby with only first and who was it? Azar. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting race. The contact at lap 58 was unfortunate. We were like screaming in the lobby because it was a lag punch. I think we went over the curb a bit, got a bit in the air also. So yeah, a bit unfortunate with that. But given the laps, could have made got past Ayub, but I didn't think we have if we had one more lap maybe.
Yeah, so another point, Sean, I suppose, how did you feel the safety car appears when you were a bit more in view of what was going on with all the drivers needing to get the wave around? So were you able to just concentrate and get on with the job?
Yeah, so the safety car was, I would say, pretty well timed for my side because my pit stop man, my tires were pretty well in the window. It was the fastest I could be, so pretty ironic that the three of us, me, Azar, and only first we got back together at the end. And yeah, it was a pretty fun dash to the line with 9 laps to go. But yeah, Rockingham is not really my strong point, so I guess pretty glad to have a decent finish.
Yeah, and you'll be ready to go for Kyoto in 2 weeks, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Kyoto is more, I guess, traditional lift for speed track with corners hopefully suiting the XRR more. So hopefully we'll see a bit of a mix up of the grid the next race. But yeah, hopefully I'll put in more practice for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get yourself some rest, of course. It's another late one after your long day. So thanks very much for your time, Sean, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
All right, I think that will do it for us, Eoin. We should have the schedule on the screen for everyone to review in just a moment. There we go. Today was round 2 at the Rockingham International Circuit. Your winner today, Vitalis Lagutskas, second win from as many rounds in this season. In 2 weeks' time, we will be at the Kyoto Ring GP Circuit, followed by round 4, the finale on the 17th of March. St. Patrick's Day for our friends in Ireland and all those around the world who celebrate. We'll be at the West Hill International Reverse Circuit. Eoin, round out your thoughts. What a race.
Yeah, another a very enticing race, has to be said. The start, I suppose, we did have a few cars maybe get a little bit loose at the beginning, and that caused the safety car very early doors, and then it calmed down after that. But the battles certainly kept very, very firm and fair. And of course, the second safety car took place with Sanella crashing out, and then obviously the ending. Yeah, it was another very, very thrilling one, but no doubt about it. Vitautas Laguskas is the man to beat with back-to-back wins.
And you, Chris, all of the calls, the insight on strategy. Your thoughts on round 2?
A race that you'd expect from Rockingham, realistically. It's not the greatest track for racing. It's an interesting track because it, in theory, is quite difficult with the grass being so close and the tyre temperatures and things like that. Pete says I'm being positive again. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying that it's Rockingham and it's... And nobody can hear you, Pete. This is the problem. But no, it's so
a problem.
It had a very interesting finish. And as per the GT2 challenge races, the field was interesting to watch, and the strategy element certainly brought it to life at the end, as did the safety car. But yeah, some interesting battles out on track, and hopefully the next one at Kyoto will be just the same.
Could not agree more with either of you. That will do it for us today. Please do join us again in 2 weeks' time for round 3 of the GT2 Challenge at the Kyoto circuit, the Kyoto GP International Circuit. It's the Kyoto something circuit. I'm really stumbling over the name of the circuit right now. Kyoto Ring GP Long Circuit KY3. There you go. Sunday, March 3rd.
With
the Boothie chicane. Yeah, there. Thank you for that detail. Please do join us again in 2 weeks' time. Owen, thank you very much. Your companionship here in the commentary box is fantastic. And Chris, thank you very much for taking the time today to join us and add your insights. It has been a pleasure sharing the commentary box with you. For our help in the sky, so to speak, in the background, Pete and Elmo running the cameras, seeing all the action, giving us the interesting things happening on circuit for the 3 of us to spot. We couldn't do it without the 2 of them. Everyone at New Dimension Racing, the professionalism, the quality of the event, the officiating is second to none in sim racing. We really enjoy working with everyone on that team to bring these events to all of you, our viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in today. For all of our drivers putting on a show for us to call and for all of you to see, we thank you all very much. We are very happy for your patronage. Wherever you are, be safe, be well, have a great day, enjoy your next week. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in today to Sim Broadcast for the return of the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge. This, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. Stuart Baker is off into pit lane.
We are green flag racing for GT2 Challenge, and there's the launch.
Side-by-side racing once more. Ooh. Even more so.
Oh, yeah, Jared and Julio Martins have collided. Martins now facing the wrong way. Oh, goodness me. Oh, big collision and into the turn 7 gravel trap.
This will be a safety car.
Another 30 laps or so to go. This is far from over. So here we go, Travis.
Price behind two cars that are racing one another.
Yeah, Isaac Price and Vitalis Laguskas
side by side in the Eau Rouge complex. One back row marker separates them from Yannick Attila behind. Vitalis Laguskas through into the lead.
Neck and neck, they won't yield whatsoever. Vitalis Laguskas wins round 1 of the 2024 GT2 Challenge.